Did you see any corrections?
Oh, I did. Well, can you look at this point?
I can. Yeah, no, I totally can. Sure. Yeah, I kind of was debating on that one.
Yeah, I feel like if you don't have that right now.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
It's now 1 o'clock. Do you see my face on that computer in there? Like me, like, hey, it is exhibit hall time. And so it is 1 o'clock. Welcome. And very excited to have you here for the virtual exhibit hall. It is Wednesday afternoon. The time is 1 o'clock. And we are super excited to have you here. So we are featuring, gosh, how many exhibitors do we have?
30, with over 50, about 30
Nice. So over 50 exhibitors, over 30 of those will be available in the live chat. And so we are, like I said, just very excited to have you here joining us. And I have here.
Oh, I got 2 masks. Look, I've even got my.
You got your flamingo mask and your mixtape mask.
Yeah, so I can be flighty or I can be.
Nice.
I can't get it around my ear, but.
So Jeff, should I go ahead and start running the video now, our pre-roll video?
I think we could start running the video.
Okay,
that'll be great.
Cool.
Yeah,
I will do that.
All right.
Yeah, I slapped it to you.
For your.
Very slow, but we are teaching.
We're providing the prices. No, we are. Yeah, you guys don't have to do anything. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Jeff Monroe. Hello, Jeff. It's a great name you've got going on there.
Yeah, right. I love it.
A little confusion in an earlier email today. Someone asked you a question. I responded. Then I felt all embarrassed. But, you know, it is what it is.
Right. We've got plenty of room for 2 Jeffs.
Perfect.
Jeff
So, Jeff, tell us all about Event Pro West.
on there. Yeah, right. So Event Pro West is a
A little confusion in an earlier email today. Someone asked you.
And buying more and more junk sometimes. But, you know, the more stuff we bought, the more we evolved into a rental company. And of course, by way of doing that, a production company. So we've been doing this for a little over 28 years, almost 29 years now. And really what we do is we specialize in a full package. So our company offers 250,000 items, which is just absolutely mind-blowing. It encompasses about 10,000 SKUs. And really for the school and educational market, what we do really well is we have a bunch of items that are just a little bit out of the norm. We carry a lot of really cool fundamental games, you know, giant games, arcade games, you know, interactive games. We have mechanical rides. I mean, really some stuff that you've never seen before. And really why we're doing this and why we've gotten involved with CADA and why we've done this specifically this year is with the pandemic and things that have kind of changed our normal everyday business. You know, primarily whereas we'd be in the corporate world doing a lot of corporate stuff, of course that shifted. And so a lot of this amazing inventory that's been primarily available to the corporate and private worlds of events, we want to make available to the schools and the educational market. And I think that we have a really good value in some of that cool stuff. So here we are, we're finally part of CADA and we're excited.
Fantastic. Well, we're glad to have you here. You know, we've got some other different kind of event companies. Is there anything that really differentiates you from those event companies besides your giant games? Anything that stands out?
Yeah, sure. So, you know, starting with the games, of course, we're based in Central California. There aren't a lot of resources, at least in this market that we're aware of, that have these types of items. So, you know, from the gaming standpoint specifically, the LED miniature golf courses and the cash cubes and a lot of the stuff that's really difficult to find, we have here in the Central California area. And what that allows us to do really is to travel outside of the area and reach upon pretty much anybody in California within 3 to 4 miles. So we're centrally located. We do stuff often in the Bay Area, Sacramento, Southern California. We're really all over the map, but it allows us to reach those areas with this unique inventory. Primarily our company, the way we started off was in lighting, staging, audio visual. Those are kind of our core aspects in which we do really well still. But because we were in those, our clients over the years have said, well, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? And then just kind of by way of nature, we've gotten into, literally everything. So, from decor to draping, we do staging, audio, visual, lighting, special effects. We have a ton. In fact, we have, I want to say about 150 special effects, from foam machines to t-shirt cannons to confetti cannons, CO2. We have all of the components that specifically schools and educational market uses quite often. And what's really cool about it is, again, we're in Central California, but we ship and can deliver anywhere. So those items would be available really to anybody within California.
Yeah, as I'm listening to you go through all that, I'm like, that when I would host events, like we got that from that company and that from over there and that from there, but you're kind of an all-in-one shop. That's awesome.
All in one shop, yeah. And our our focus really is to make it as convenient and easy as one package. So I don't know if you can see behind me, but we've got some linen samples. We've got some chairs, of course, not really used too much in the school market, but for proms and things like that on occasion, we'll have requests for those. And so where can you go and get these items, along with lighting and audiovisual and games and everything all wrapped up into one package. So that's where our value is really making it simple and easy, specifically. And then not only that, but all of our items are on our website. Quite literally 10,000 SKUs on our website that you can cruise through photos and videos and pricing and everything else. So it makes it really convenient.
Excellent. And you talked all about California, but we do have a lot of out-of-staters that they call our Area H here in CADA that travel from a lot from Nevada and Arizona, real close by. You go that far out?
Absolutely, yeah. So we do readily, we do stuff in Arizona all the time. Phoenix is a huge market for us. We're in Vegas probably weekly. So we do a lot of stuff. We call as California, Arizona, and Nevada is what we call the tri-state area. Those are our comfortable states. Of course, we've gone further than that, but we're comfortable within those 3 states. So, and again, we ship. A lot of the items are available for shipping, specifically like t-shirt cannons and confetti cannons and CO2, that kind of stuff we can ship. Of course, we deliver as well, and we do that often. But yeah, definitely. If you've got a client that's in Arizona, we do a lot of stuff in Southern California. Honestly, we'll go anywhere.
Fantastic. All right, this year's theme for our convention is the Leadership Mixtape. It's a throwback to those 1980s and 90s tunes that many of us that are in that age bracket would create those mixtapes and give to friends and things like that. Any cool 80s, 90s music memories, maybe concert, favorite band, anything like that?
So my first concert with Garth Brooks. That was my very first concert. I think I was probably under 10. I was pretty excited about that. And I'm a huge fan of country, of course, being in Fresno, California, where a lot of country is. Love it. But there's one 80s, 90-ish band / group that I just absolutely love, and that's Run DMC.
Oh, yes.
Takes me back to my high school days, of course. I graduated in 99, so, hey, those are right in there with the Run DMC. It's tricky. A lot of dance floor moves to that song and that band. So we love that, and I think that would be my favorite.
That is fantastic. Run DMC. All right, be sure to visit the virtual exhibit hall and click on the Event Pro West link, and you can say hi to Jeff and get some more information from him and talk up your upcoming school events. We're going to start having them again. I can't wait. Thanks a lot, Jeff.
You got it. Thanks, everybody.
And now we are talking with the owner of Custom Imprints, Mark Kulai. Good day to you, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing so great. This convention is fantastic so far. So tell us all about Custom Imprints. I have worked with you for a number of years. I know all about you, but I want you to tell our viewers about it.
So our company is a custom screen printing, embroidery, tactile twill, promotional product company. And for CADA schools, that means spirit wear, class tees and lawn signs, PE uniforms. It means student apparel for things like Avid, Yearbook, Honor Society, all those kind of items as well.
And it also means super easy design process and awesome customer
Yeah.
service. I will add that in.
Yeah, and always the guaranteed lowest price. I should have added that in.
Oh,
always.
Yes, excellent. So we've had a crazy year. I was going to ask you if you've got any new products, but I have this, and I am super excited by this. Can you tell us what this is?
So one of our newest products you have right there. Over the summer we bought a industrial 100-watt laser machine that both cuts and laser etches things like wood, acrylic, bricks. And that's the lawn signs were very popular for us at the end of last school year. And so this is an extension of it. What you have, so we've created wood signs where we cut them out in premium Baltic birch, and then we give you all the parts, and then you paint signs like this right here.
So cool.
And we have, look in the mirror here, this kind of thing here too. We have all kinds of different signs that your students can then use their own creativity, paint it as they want to. It's a lot of fun. So for the CADA convention, we donated out several of them. So you'll probably see them in the backgrounds.
Yeah,
but our website really explains it best, the process of setting the design for you, whether it's a class of 2021 design or something that's more universal for your whole school. It's a great new product. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Like, it's just a fun little crafting thing. It'll keep my family busy for an hour or so on a weekend. And it's going to look cool either in the yard or on the back wall. And it's got that customizable portion at the bottom where you can put your name or, go, whatever your mascot is. Very, very cool and neat to look at. So how has the last year been for Custom Imprints?
It's been a challenge. About a year ago, right after that convention, all large events, all conventions, totally canceled. And then for us customers, hospitality, travel, restaurants, totally disrupted. And then the schools, very much, their orders really impacted quite a bit.
Right.
Now we're fortunate compared to most, have got a lot of customers in construction and other areas that haven't been impacted as much. We're a mature company in that we own the building, we own the equipment, and we'll be financially strong. So when the COVID fog lifts, I feel like we're ready there to pick up market share that wasn't there before. So, I have long-term optimism, but the last year it's been a big stinker.
Yeah, totally. I think that's a good word. I haven't heard someone use stinker. I might start using that one.
Dating myself.
And we thank you, Mark. You're one of our platinum not a platinum, one of our what is it called? A medallion
level sponsors.
Medallion. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yes.
And you supply the shirts for our Castle State Conference. So I know you'll be working with Sandy Curlin for the Cafe Castle event coming up in April. So that's very cool. And then what, how long have you been involved with CADA overall?
So I don't have the exact date. I'm pretty sure it's 25 years. 25. Very happy with CADA and think of so many years. Really bummed out that we're not at a convention this year. It's certainly a highlight of my year to travel, whether it's San Diego or Reno.
We're having a good virtual event so far. So
yes, and Ron's done an awesome job.
Not in person,
sure,
but
for sure.
I actually got an email last night. Someone's like, I wasn't expecting to have that CADA feel, but oh my gosh, I have that CADA feel. So, hey, do you have any favorite CADA memories, Mark?
I do. So early on, it's the first year that we decided to decorate for the theme. We also, the first year, tried to give out T-shirts, and it was a New Orleans theme. And anyways, we'd given out, I had no idea how well those giving out T-shirts were going to be. It was a big cost for us to give out.
Yeah.
And we had a line all the way down the aisle. It was extremely long. People wanted that free shirt, and then they wore them the next time, and it really had me connected. We got a lot of new customers. It was the first time that I really felt totally, truly involved in that whole CADA atmosphere, the whole CADA energy.
Yeah.
And I was totally hooked and sold on CADA as a business move for our company. So, it's a long time ago, but that first time that we'd really gone all out at the CADA convention was a big deal for us.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I remember one of my first CADAs, the first couple of years, I wore one of your free giveaway shirts at the Friday night dinner dance because I hadn't packed anything. So it worked out great.
Yes. Well, we hope we could be in everyone's
For sure.
wardrobe. That would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we're doing the mixtape. Any fun 80s, 90s music memories? Bands?
So I was in college during the late 80s, 90s. My favorite band was the Red Hot Chili Peppers. My roommates got me to go to a concert. We went down to the Celebrity Theater in Anaheim, and the event management was not ready for that crowd. Slam dancing turned into stage dives. There was some real hindrance of the stage dives, so people just started tearing apart the stage. And there's Anthony and Flea. They're still playing, still rocking on, and people are tearing apart the stage at the same time. And I ended up with a huge trophy, a big piece of the stage that was still on my wall. It was on my wall for years of my part of the Red Hot Chili Peppers concert.
Wow.
It's
You've just like
pained
painted
great time.
every activities director. That is every activities director's nightmare right there. Something like that happening.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it happened.
So
Not that I did anything wrong.
Yeah, right. No. Any final thoughts or things you want to share?
Yeah, I do. We've been a long year, and I feel like I'm speaking for all the CADA sponsors. There's a big media campaign, there has been for years, about shopping local.
Mm-hmm.
And I really believe in the shop local concept. And I really want to push out there to the CADA community that the CADA medallion sponsors are your shop local. Now my company, we have a very large national sponsor. A very large national competitor. And I get that you activity directors really like to have your students make the decisions, and they get impacted by a lot of the advertising. But again, we're the local company that helps sponsor events. We provide expertise, and we bring a lot of that energy to the conventions. And we really want to say that if you believe in the shop local concept, please consider your CADA medallion sponsors as your shop local. Have your students reach out to us, have them bid us. And that, again, this goes for all CADA medallion sponsors here. We're here for you, and we love that chance. So
yeah,
yes,
those are great words. And as someone who has had my students go out and bid, we also come back to our CADA sponsors and say, hey, can you match this bid? As you mentioned earlier,
that's exactly what you should do. Have the kids do that. Have a little bit of negotiation. It's a total skill that they have. Don't just be impacted by the advertisement, but definitely go out. Figure out what's most important to your school, or its deadline, is the art, what is the most important, put it in a message, compare 3 companies, and then it's such a great valuable skill. And I do feel like it's a great lesson for the kids. Plus I think they'll end up getting better. They'll get better results.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree. Great words of advice, Mark. Thank you so much for joining us today. Be sure to stop by the virtual exhibit hall, click on the custom imprints icon, and jump in, say hi to Mark, catch up with him, see what kind of products he's got. And Mark, thanks once again for joining us.
Look forward to seeing you all at the convention hall.
We're here with Teresa Schmidt from Audio Dynamics. Hey, Teresa, how you doing?
Hey, how are you doing, Jeff?
I'm
Good to see you.
I missed seeing your face last summer. Teresa helps us out at CADA Summer Leadership Camps as our CADA sponsor. She provides the audio systems as we wow the masses with a projection of microphones and music at our events and things like that. So thank you for your sponsorship, Teresa, and it's really great to catch up with you. Thanks for being here at CADA 2021. So why don't you just start off and let us all know all about Audio Dynamics. What is it that you do and how do you support schools?
Okay. Well, we provide portable sound systems that are very easy to set up and use. You just roll them out, plug them in, ready to go for schools and other markets, but primarily schools. And we've been with CADA. I've been with CADA for this is my 30th year.
Awesome.
With exhibiting at CADA. So we, as you said, we provide the sound systems for the CADA camps and sound systems for schools and other markets, sound systems, microphones, amplifiers. We carry Zoom products now, podcasting. One of our customers just bought some podcasting equipment so their students can now have a podcast for their school.
Fantastic.
So that's pretty exciting. They just got their delivery for all their equipment last week, so I'm excited to hear the results of that. And then we'll have a big announcement here shortly. And yeah, it's a fun job. Fun.
Yeah, and I as an activities director, purchased a number of your products and always loved them. Super easy. That when you say plug and play, you are not joking. Plug and play. Fantastic.
Yeah, a couple of them have a big red button. You just press the button, the whole system goes on. You're ready to go.
I always love to tell the story of my students who came running into me one day and said, Mr. Culver, the sound system's not working. And I walked over there and it was a CD player and they were, it was at that point where CDs were starting to fade out. And I was like, you have to push the play button. And they're like, oh. It was the best. It was like so classic Gen Z. But so Teresa.
Man, we were back in the days of tapes.
Oh, I can imagine. For sure.
Stopping the tape and starting the tape, and the cheerleaders have to go in, and they don't have it wound up in the right place.
Totally. So how has the last year been with COVID-19? How has Audio Dynamics coped? Have you pivoted in any way to adapt to the new the new normal that we're currently experiencing?
Well, for our products, it's not. We've been doing pretty well, actually, considering. And after the shock wore off of the first couple weeks of closures, I mean, I've been really lucky and blessed thanks to our loyal customers over the last year or so. If you would have asked me, last year, we were just shut down for a couple of weeks. I was still freaking out. We were just spent all that money on the CADA conference, on our new catalog, mailing that out. But we've been really lucky. I've got some nice orders. All of our AC/DC sound systems, those sound machines, those have been a big seller this year. In anticipation of doing events indoor and outdoor. Plus our other systems are for indoor and outdoor use anyway. So, but we've gotten really lucky. And like Pomona Unified gave us a nice order in December for a sound system for every one of their schools. So, yeah, and on the bright side, last year we had so much inventory ready to go, and a lot of large orders were sitting on the board, and I'm literally waiting, scheduling appointments, but then those appointments were canceled right before for delivery, but we were able to deliver most of those sound systems before the end of the school year. Maybe I went into the back door at a couple schools.
Well, that's maybe. Great. I'm glad that you got some results there. That's great.
And yeah.
All right, so you mentioned 30 years attending CADA. You've got to have one really great memory from your CADA experiences.
It was Don Donye's fireworks show.
Oh yeah,
that was pretty amazing.
That was my first convention, the CADA Celebrates America. Yes, that was amazing.
Yeah, Americana. It was amazing. We had our sound system out there, out in the front of the convention center, and just kind of stressing out a bit, making sure the music's going to sync up with the fireworks. It all worked out. That was really fun. And that was just a really great memory because I know how hard he worked on that to make that happen. And it was touch and go for a while.
Yeah.
But the funniest moment wasn't too many years ago. And we were in, there was the Thursday night bowling and dancing. and that was in Reno, and the music's pumping, the teachers are dancing, and I walk in the hallway in front of the dance room, and a couple of young teenagers happen to be maybe staying in the hotel, and one of them turns to the other two friends and said, "Those are teachers." Because they're just going wild. I mean, they're just dancing and the music's blasting and they're just having fun. And I don't think that when you're a young teenage, you really understand that they actually have their own lives and
Yeah,
have a good
we are
time.
human. We like to dance. We like to, have a good time. For sure.
So they were kind of shocked that there was teachers in there. And that was them when they looked like they were a bunch of teenagers having a good time.
That's fun.
So that was fun. Yeah.
All right, Teresa. Well, we appreciate your involvement with CADA. We love having you here with us this year at the virtual conference. Look forward to seeing you in the exhibit hall back in Reno next March for the 2022 convention. Thank you so much for being a part of the CADA world, and thanks for joining us today.
And thanks for making this a great conference this year, Jeff. All of you at CADA Central. Thanks so much. Talk to you later.
Hey, up next, we are meeting with two members of the CADA Leadership Camps staff, Brian Speed and Melissa Edsel. You two were our camp directors last year as we did Power Up and our very first virtual camp that we thought was going to be our one and only. And turns out it's going to be the first of two virtual camps that we'll be doing. How are you guys doing today?
Great.
Excellent, excellent. So start off, talk to me and tell our audience a little bit about what CADA Leadership Camps is and why you got involved.
Okay, so I can start. I was lucky. I got to go to CADA Leadership Camps as a kid, so I knew I loved it. And then my first year in education, I was lucky enough to work at camp, and I've been working at camp ever since. I love that camp is kind of this prep and this like exciting moment in the summer where you're just getting ready for the year, and we're trying at camp to kind of prepare you for anything that you might need to do in the school year. And so there's just so many opportunities for growth for kids.
Speed, how about you?
So I too got to go to leadership camps when I was in high school, and I just had an amazing experience just being able to connect with student leaders from all over the state and learn from, people from CADA, but also different speakers from all around. It was a really cool experience. And part of that is what inspired me to pursue a career in activities and become an activities director. I just love camp because you get to connect with people and you get to learn, and the students get to come in and they get to create the different events and things that happen at camp. So you get to learn like hands-on and firsthand and just have a really cool experience and make a ton of memories.
Awesome. I just realized that all three of us went to camp as students and now coming back as adults. Like that's such a testament to the program that was created back.
I had a pen pal back in the day before anything was technology, right? Like I had people, we wrote letters for years because of my friends I made in a week at CADA camp. So it's really cool.
Very cool. So last year we did our first virtual camp, and I pegged you two to be our camp directors, you kind of the face. What was that experience like, and what was the virtual camp? How was that beneficial last year compared to like the normal year where we're on campus at UCSB or Santa Clara?
Well, I'll say when we went into shelter in place and we were staying at home, I struggled, like just the lack of seeing kids. I didn't have their energy, and I was just left the school year just kind of defeated. And so I was really looking forward to camp because I was hoping it was going to give me that same good, happy feeling that I always get at camp. And it did. Like, it really made me feel ready for the school year. I didn't run a council, just being the director. I got to see so much and bring it to my own classroom. We've done rallies that I don't think we'd have done. We've done lunchtime activities that I wouldn't have done had I not been at camp, and seeing what these kids could create in a few days virtually was really cool.
Very nice.
I have to agree with Melissa. Like, when we first went on that shelter in place, it was just kind of like, what are we going to do moving forward? At that point in the year, it was like, okay, let's figure out graduation. Let's figure out how to get, the seniors through. But everybody else coming into the next school year, like, we had no idea what it would look like. And I think having the opportunity to work, virtual camp, like, you get to see firsthand, like, oh, these are platforms that you can use. These are structures that you can use to bring everything back to your school. And I think virtual camp was also a testament to those students and their creativity. If you give them these different avenues, like, we were able to see what they could create and what they could bring to life. Like, it was amazing just having that opportunity to work camp and see what students can do and give them the opportunities to do it.
Yeah, I do think it allowed me to be a little more flexible in the school year, knowing that giving them time to be creative, my kids have come up with like really cool things, but that all started with camp and seeing they just needed that support.
Yeah, I remember when we were talking about this in late spring about putting this virtual camp on, we were just like, oh, I was so scared because people were just sort of Zoom burned out, and it had only been like a couple of weeks at that point, and I was so scared. And then, everyone went on summer break, and they had some time off, and then camp popped up, and I think it was so great because the students and the advisors that attended were burned out, yes, in the spring, but then they had that break, and then summer was the perfect time to kind of jump back in and kind of really examine what the future was going to look like. And we're looking at now another kind of different year moving forward. What would be your opinion on what the benefit of going to camp this summer, virtual camp this summer? What would be the benefit there for schools as we look to the 21-22 school year?
I would say,
go ahead.
You can go ahead.
No, go for it.
I would say, like, you have an opportunity to really reflect on this last year. We were all, for the most part, doing virtual learning. Like, you have that opportunity to reflect, but then also look ahead. So, like, how can we build? What can we do? How can we reimagine what we're going to do moving forward? Hopefully, we'll be able to come back in person. So at this camp, you'll have an opportunity to see, what worked out virtually, but also like what you can do in a hybrid setting, what you can do to start building as we come back, hopefully to full school. I don't know what it's going to look like, but you'll be able to get ideas, and hopefully by then we have a better understanding of what next school year will look like.
Yeah, I still think like we're going to need virtual things to happen for a while. Like, I can't imagine, I don't know, maybe we will get to all be in the gym together and having a regular rally, but I also think we need to prepare for what if we're not. And so we just need to look at all of those possibilities. And I think camp is that place where it's like this great melting pot of all these different minds and all these different people from all these different regions that have great ideas. And like everyone helps each other trying to come up with solutions for the future.
And we do, it's primarily a student training program, but we do have an advisor strand. And last year, the advisors that came together, like, it was such a great support network, and they gleaned so many great ideas from each other. And I hear that from a number of people that attended, like, what a saving grace that was over the summer, to be able to come together and really have honest conversations about the future and things that they could do and pull some great ideas. So big reveal here. Our theme for this summer is the leadership renovation. Ooh. So we're going to be, looking at how do we kind of take those bare bones of our leadership programs on our campus and build them up again. as it's just been such a crazy year and a half. So we're looking forward to that, July 12th through the 16th, and registration opening as of March 1st at cada1.org/leadership camps. All right, before we go, fun questions. Brian Speed, tell me your favorite CADA memory. It can be convention-oriented, camp-oriented, anything CADA related. Favorite CADA memory.
So you like put me on the spot. There's so many great memories. I think my favorite CADA memory would probably be as a student. So CADA has dances when we're actually in person, and like the big thing was like no freaking at the dances. And that summer I was a part of the advanced council because I got to go a couple of years, and we put together like a skit where it was like no freak dancing, and like I like to dance in high school, like I was known for being a dancer. So I got to show my moves, but it was like in a no freaking kind of context. So it's like, oh, I'm going to start freak dancing. And then there's another student who's like, oh, no, we can't do that. We got to be good leaders. I don't know. That always brings back positive vibes and a good laugh.
Awesome. Melissa, how about you? Favorite CADA memory?
I would say, like, as a student, so corny. But we did Whitney Houston's Greatest Love of All, and we all sat in like a giant kumbaya circle. This was when it was still at Stanford. And we were given the words and we all sang it. I love a sing-along. I get so excited about a sing-along. Like I just do. You do, right? And then like as an adult, when I get to direct in person, I always make the kids do a sing-along because of that moment in my youth. Like it just makes me so happy to have, like, even if nobody can sing, it doesn't matter. It's that unifying event where everyone's in it together. It just makes me so happy. So when I'm directing, I always get the kids to do a sing-along.
No, now it all makes sense now. Every time I sing along now, I understand why. All right, and then mixtape era, 80s and 90s music. So many fun tunes from the 80s and 90s. So many great concerts, bands. I know Speed, that's more retro for you, but any cool memories about 80s and 90s music that you want to share with the audience?
I'll share. So my sister's 8 years younger, and she used to love the Backstreet Boys. I was kind of a little old and too cool for that. So, but anyway, they went back on tour like a couple years ago, and she really wanted to go, and no one would go with her. So I went. And I'm going to tell you, like, as an activities director, our goal is to create like this energy and this fire and to get people excited. I've never been to a concert where there was more excitement. It was insane. Like the energy, like it was a bunch of 40-year-old women just like singing and screaming at the top of their lungs. But I was like, oh my God, this energy is like what you want every school to be like at your pep rally or whatever. It was just like the coolest thing. And I'm like, I like the Backstreet Boys, but not like there was ladies there that loved them. But just seeing that 90s continue, right?
You're not the first person to mention Backstreet Boys as one of their favorite memories in the mixtape era. Just FYI, that's crazy. Speed, any cool memories music-wise?
I don't know. I just feel like 90s hip hop and R&B was like money. I know when my wife and I first started dating, like that's all we would listen to, 90s R&B. So like, oh, let's have a night and we're like baking cookies or something. It's just like 90s R&B. 90 R&B songs all throughout our wedding and stuff. So it just brings back good memories.
That is awesome. All right. Well, thank you both for joining us today. Be sure to visit the virtual exhibit hall and click on the CADA Camps booth. And we'll have some staff members in there periodically throughout the open exhibit hall times and answer all your questions. Thanks again, Speed and Melissa. Have a great one. All right, up next, we are talking with Scott Bakovich, the founder of Involve, a very cool school training. Maybe I don't know what it is. Scott, can you tell us what Involve is?
Yeah, absolutely. So Involve has like one simple goal, and that's to help schools and student leadership and student activity programs create amazing and inclusive activities. I've been fortunate enough in the last 14 years or so to travel and speak to more places than I can possibly count. And everywhere I've gone, it seems to be kind of the same recurring story that I hear, which is that student activity groups often struggle with this idea of like, how do we actually get kids to participate? And I think, especially now with COVID, it's gotten harder and harder. And so it's led to so many more schools saying like, hey, how can we get our students involved and how can we create new activities? And so that's what we do. We run trainings and workshops and offer a ton of resources for schools to do just that.
And you launched this before COVID, but you've really adapted quite well during the last year. What have trainings been like for you with this virtual Zoom type of setup?
Yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, yeah, we obviously had been serving schools for quite a while pre-COVID. And when COVID hit, I think when we knew something big was kind of happening is we launched, I think just at the start of quarantine, like a free video series. We filmed it on my cell phone in my home office, and we just opened up signups to whatever school wanted it, hoping maybe like 30 or 40 schools would see value in it. And I think within a week of launching, we had something like 750 schools in 7 countries or something insane like that. And we're like, oh my gosh, something big is happening. And so in the last year, we've released a ton of new content and resources. I'm actually in our studio right now where we train schools every day. We released our virtual training program, which we've had well over 100 schools sign up for and be a part of. And so every day is training schools and welcoming them into this community where they're able to get access to these incredible activities, but more importantly, the tools and resources for their students to create their own, regardless of what health circumstances the world's facing.
Very cool. And yeah, I love that backdrop that you've got in your studio there, the Create community. It's very colorful. It pops. I enjoy watching that when I get to see your videos. So how long have you been a CADA member, Scott?
I feel like I should ask you. I don't even know. I'm trying to think. The first time I went to CADA, I think I was 19 or 20. And I think it was 19 or 20. So however long that's been, it's been a minute now, which is crazy to think about and say out loud. But yeah, I mean, going to CADA, whether in person or this year virtually, is always a highlight of the year. So it'll be exciting.
Any best or most fun CADA memory for you?
Oh my gosh, most fun CADA memory. I think it was my first time seeing, I was like 19 at the time, probably. Remember the first time seeing like the big Friday night dinner dance and like just seeing the spectacle of all of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is kind of incredible in a million different ways. And so I think like the first time I experienced that was kind of that like moment you never forget. So definitely on that one.
Yeah, they open those doors, you walk in, you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
You just
3 days of just nonstop learning and all that. It's like this fun Friday night extravaganza. Oh yeah, I missed the Friday night dinner dance, but I know this year we've got something fun going on and planned, even if it's virtual. But yeah, I can't wait to get back into that big ballroom again and do a little dancing with Scott on the floor.
Yeah,
I'm hanging. Gonna do a little.
I'll get you.
There it is. There it is. Woo! I'm sorry I made you do that. All right. We got the leadership mixtape. We are in the 80s and 90s music era. I know you've got some fun memory from the 80s and 90s related to music.
I was born in 88. So I'm gonna have to I was born in late 88. So if I have to go to like early childhood, I remember the first, and this is an embarrassing fact, but it is a legit fact. The first ever CD that I was purchased, I think it was as a gift from someone. And I don't know, I think I was I'm guessing 6 or 7.
Okay.
Like this, I'd have to do the look on this to see if they were actually around, but it could have been older. But I remember the first CD I was given was like a Backstreet Boys CD.
Oh,
and I'm pretty now that I'm older, I'm actually pretty stoked on that fact. So I can rep that hard.
All right. And this year you are presenting a couple times during session 2 on Tuesday. You're presenting a workshop called Bringing Engagement Back, Starting an Activity Revival. Anything you want to plug related to that workshop?
I think, one thing that's been really awesome this year is being able to like give a ton of resources. And this is more time than I've ever had in my life to actually create and look at new things that are happening in the world of student activities. And so if anyone watching has ever been to one of our sessions before, one of my sessions, I talk quite really, really fast, and I try to give out as much info as I possibly can. And it's going to be no different.
Yes.
I know students, whether they're virtual or hybrid or fully starting to transition back in person, we said a statement recently that I think holds really true, which is that even if school goes back to normal tomorrow, student activities sadly aren't going back to a state of normal for a while. And so I think schools everywhere are struggling with this idea of like, how do we start bringing school spirit or positive environment back, considering a lot of the activities we're using are ones that we're now not allowed to transition fully back just yet. And so we'll be looking at like how we actually start that process and activities that we can easily quick hit on schools that whether students are online or in person or a little bit of both, that they can actually feel comfortable and safe participating in.
Very cool. And I know you're a humble guy and you probably don't want me to say this, but I know so many of my activities director friends that go to your workshops and come out and are just like, oh my gosh, my mind was blown. So many great ideas. So do check out Scott's workshop on Tuesday. If you missed the live one, the recording will be available on the schedule. And then you're also going to be doing a Meet the Pros, which is those 10-minute recordings that'll be available all week called Activities for Everyone 2021. Check that one out as well. Scott, thank you so much for joining us today. And be sure to visit Scott in the virtual exhibit hall. Click on the Involve logo and say hi to Scott. Thanks a lot, Scott.
Perfect. Thanks, Jeff.
Next up, we are talking to Lee Tuesnot from Herf Jones, a varsity achievement brand. Hey, Lee, how are you today?
Awesome, Jeff. How are you?
Doing great. So glad to have you back with us. Thank you for your platinum sponsorship here at CADA as well. We'll start off. Just tell us a little bit about Herf Jones and varsity brands and what you do for schools and what's involved with being a Herf Jones rep.
Absolutely. So Herf Jones is part of a larger family of companies called Varsity Brands. And together what we do is focus every single day on how do we elevate the student experience. So Varsity Brands is made up of VSN Sports, Varsity Spirit, and Herf Jones. And Herf Jones really has two primary divisions within it, in the high school space at least. There is our graduation division, which does caps, gowns, class rings, announcements, you name it. Senior apparel, and we have our yearbook division that does yearbooks, magazines, pieces like that. And really what we spend every day trying to do is figure out not only how to help schools celebrate the achievements of their kids, but also we try to put tools in their hands to make those achievements possible. And so the types of things that schools do, the types of things that CADA members do are what help pump our blood. We love doing it. We can't do what we love to do without you doing what you do so well. So that's our whole mission at this point, and it's really my function at the company is making sure that we're putting those tools into your hands so that hopefully you choose to work with us and let us celebrate with you.
Very cool. And I know you did a lot of reimagining last spring to get ready for virtual graduations, drive-through graduations. So talk a little bit about what has COVID been like for Herff Jones, and how have you guys pivoted to adapt to the new scenarios?
You know, you just used the word that I use probably 50 times a day, which is adapt.
Yes.
And realistically, yeah, it hit us hard, and that's not any different than anybody else. Obviously, our business, the way we actually make money and put food on the table for all of our employees and reps is by selling these awesome symbols of achievement, the caps and gowns and the rings and the yearbooks and everything. And with everything that kind of the brakes got put on last year, there was some rough times, some lean parts of the year, but we focused really quickly on, we can't just have this all be about us. We know that we have a lot of employees to take care of. Varsity Brands as a whole has over 9,000 employees. Though we recognize those people have families and obligations that they have to meet. But we also know that what we do impacts in such a big way what you do and what your students experience. And so we did everything that we could to adapt as quickly as possible. We converted one of our cap and gown plants very quickly into making masks. They weren't the prettiest masks in the world, I'm not going to lie to you. And they were made out of cap and gown material. So it was interesting, but we knew we wanted to jump on the front lines as quickly as possible to be part of the solution. Then through BSN, we actually started producing much more professional grade looking masks that were sublimated and everything could be school spirit oriented, but also providing PPE type things. So hand sanitizing stations and gloves and disinfectant and all those different types of things that were going to help. One of the big things that they started producing that schools really loved was signage to put around campuses, masks required and the stuff that goes on the ground to tell people where to stand. That was all school branded, because we recognize in such a way that matters. Even those little details really matter to a student and their experience overall. And then one of the big things that Herff Jones really pushed last year was a partnership with two companies that we had already been kind of exploring something with, to put together a virtual graduation solution that wasn't just, we're going to give you some slides and maybe give you some canned music or anything like that. We really wanted to put something together that was unique and special, because everybody knows that the class of 2020 had something really neat ripped away from them. So we put together this virtual graduation solution. We were pumped about it. There were some bumps in the road because we were kind of building the plane as we were flying it. But it was altogether, the experience people had was amazing. And it was very fulfilling on our end to be able to fill that need, give kids something special, while recognizing and making clear that this is different and it's not always going to be this way. So
yeah, adapting a great lesson for life, but it was a tough situation, but the perseverance was phenomenal last year, and watching some of the really cool creative things that came out of it, especially from Herff as well, was phenomenal.
Well, and that was the most fun. That was the most fun thing for us. Was I always kind of use the analogy. We're kind of us and our reps. We're very much like honeybees, just kind of going from flower to flower, and we get to see what's working really well here and what's not working there. And that's one of the biggest things that I always try to say that we as a company can be to a school is we can bring that cross pollination from all of those other flowers, those other schools out there, and say, hey, if you're thinking about, your goal was we still want there to be an in-person element, but we don't know what to do. Well, you know what? We were working with a school over in Virginia that's tried this new drive-in thing, and maybe we can copy what they did. There's no stealing in schools, right? It's all utilizing the best ideas to make the best experience. So,
and that's what CADA is like. People try, they come back, they report back, and someone else hears it. They adapt it for their own school site. Yeah, absolutely. How long have you been involved with CADA, Lee?
Gosh, this is my 15th year personally coming to CADA. It's been a blast, and I know our company's been a part of CADA for over 30 years. So.
Yeah, for sure.
We are very tightly woven and dyed in the wool. Something that I know personally I look forward to every year. I've heard a lot of advisors say over the years, and our reps feel the same. This is kind of our new year, like in a way. And CAD is where we get a ton of ideas to try to game out during the spring that we can bring to schools in the fall. So as a company, we're paying attention to it too. It's where I've gotten any good idea that I've given to our company probably came from CADA. So I can.
Very nice. I know we always look forward to the Herf Jones night of networking at the event. And we thank you guys this year for stepping up and hosting our Tuesday night family game night. So whenever someone's watching this, it may have already happened, or if you're watching this before, too, to join us for family game night, some fun stuff. You want to give any teasers on that for those that haven't yet had a chance to?
I'm telling you right now. So personally, the reason why it was family game night, and I know a lot of things here are tried to gear around being able to accommodate a family. I looked at it as, I don't think it'd be very fair to tell your husband or your wife, hey, I'm going to go hang out in the garage with a bunch of people all over California while you take care of the kids. So please bring your kids. We're going to have some fun games that we're going to make it very family friendly. But some trivia and some name that tune and some other stuff. So start brushing up on those things. And we really want to have just a fun night that we can celebrate with you guys and do a little bit of networking and, just kind of hang out and have fun. So
awesome.
Some cool prizes too. We're going to have some awesome prizes to give away to the winners and anybody that shows up. So.
Am I eligible or no, I'm not eligible.
I mean, we can talk after.
Just kidding. And then one last thing I want to mention is you guys are bringing in Aaron Hart and Kevin Atlas, who are going to be doing a workshop on behalf of Herf Jones on Thursday. That one called Social and Emotional Empowerment Rights. Any plugs you want to give about that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, if you guys don't know who Kevin Atlas is, he used to go by Kevin Lau. He's a nearly 7 foot tall, one-armed former collegiate basketball player. Amazing guy, amazing story. And together we built what's called the Believe in You series. We're really excited about it. Check it out at www.believeinu.com. But we have this partnership through VSN Sports, through our sister company, with an organization called Open. It's the online physical education network, and a lot of great curriculum writers live within the Open network. And so Aaron Hart is the head of that group.
Okay.
He and Kevin we all got together and they wrote some amazing social emotional learning curricula, empowerment journals, all kinds of really cool stuff. And so they're going to share what some of that stuff can do for your school. Not going to be a sales pitch. There are certainly things that we can help provide to you guys if you need it. But really the goal of that session is to put some tools in your hands and some ideas in your head that are going to help students through all of this and continue to adapt as the situations change. So that is the goal of the session. We hope you join it. Kevin and Aaron are going to do a great job, and we're pumped.
All right. And again, that's called Social and Emotional Empowerment Rights. It's during the Thursday block of workshops. So if you miss it live, you can always catch the recording afterwards. All right. Thanks, Lee, for joining us today. Be sure to stop by the virtual exhibit hall. Click on Herf Jones. They're going to have a whole bunch of reps in there. And so you can talk to your local rep. They'll send them into a breakout room potentially, so you can have more of a one-on-one conversation. But looking forward to having you in that exhibit hall. And again, thanks for joining us today, Lee.
Please do. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you guys.
Up next, we are talking with Sandy Kurland, who is my counterpart in the CADA Castle world. Ooh!
You're doing better part? Or
The
not?
better part, absolutely. Yes, you're the top. I'm like, yeah, for sure. Sandy oversees our CASTLE program, the California Association of Student Leaders. Sandy, just tell us a little bit about CASTLE. What is that organization? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm thrilled to say that I have the privilege of guiding that other piece of CADA Castle, which is, as Jeff said, the California Association of Student Leaders. And it is modeled after CADA, in which we do a lot of the same things, and it culminates in our conference, the Castle State Conference, where we also have area meetings, meet the pros, speakers, and all those things. The big difference is that it's all put on by students. So one of the really cool aspects of it is that when you take your students, they see other students running out those pieces.
Yeah, which is, I mean, an amazing thing to see. As an advisor, just watching it all happen and unfold was it was inspiring to go back to my campus and let my students then take the reins. Now, last year we left the CADA convention in Reno, came home, and everything shut down a week later, including the Cafe Castle, the 2020 state conference. And so, how did you guys handle that?
Yeah, so it was, we had about 8 to 10 days when we learned that we were going virtual. So it's interesting looking back now to see all of that. But I recall T Street calling me and saying, like, you got this, we got this, I'm here to help you. Like, what do you need? And it was so funny. I remember giving our password to all of our speakers to go on Instagram Live. And luckily, we with Castle had actually been using Zoom for the past couple of years. So we kind of knew a little bit about that, and we put like Meet the Pros and things like that on there. But really, we kind of did a lot of it just, you know, like again, in 10 days on Instagram Live, and everything was very fluid and moving fast. And we had over 10,000 people joining us, so it was great. But we learned a lot, and this year it will look a little different.
Which takes us to this year, and the Castle State Conference this year, again, going to be virtual. So what's that going to be like?
Round two, you learn. So we will be using different platforms and Instagram Live, although we have had requests for still maintaining our breakfast and lunch and dinner through Instagram Live fun things. But we will definitely this year going for, again, trendy, but a little more the professional look of, you know, really setting our speakers up for success and a great sound system and all those things, and a really easy, you know, navigational website to use. And we hope that it allows you to see how good a virtual conference can be. Because I think this year our focus became not just content and curriculum and all those other amazing things that we do, but it was also like, how can we do it so well on Zoom that people will want to stay engaged the entire time, as opposed to just looking at a screen. We've definitely adapted and learned all the interactive tricks of keeping people engaged.
Yes, that interaction's super important. You were talking about the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I know that's like the secondary part of all the amazing curriculum that you put together, but I can't help but remember Tanner Schinderly on the Castle board cooking in his house last year and setting off all the smoke detectors in his house. It was like one of those moments that was just so much fun to watch as an attendee. And you know, hopefully Tanner will do some more cooking for us.
I guess there's a reason it's called live, which is no joke. It's not like the cooking shows on TV where they say it's live and then they like pull something out of the oven. Ours was like really live, and let's go with it. So fun to see that behind the scenes piece. Like a lot of people told us that with Castle, like you usually don't get to see the behind the scenes part of Castle, and all you see is the end product, where this felt a little more like we took them on that journey with us, which was really fun.
Absolutely. Now, we have a number of different programs within the CADA and Castle organization from our area conferences. And then we have Castle, and then we have Camp. Like, how do you kind of view Castle being its own little island? What's different about that versus some of the other events? And, you know, why would an advisor go to Castle in addition to all the other events that we put on?
Yeah, great question, Jeff Colbert.
Threw you a hardball there.
Yeah, well, I will say that, you know, a number of reasons. I think number one is because it's put on by students, obviously. And so you have their perspective. Like as often as I want to think I am genius and brilliant, I will come up with things and the students be like, you know what, we really think it would be better like this way, or look, and you're like, oh, that's so interesting to once again have the 13-year-old to 18-year-old perspective. And I think that's what makes it great, is really we are very catered to what students would want on the other end of it. And I would also say, while you all are at CADA, you know, Castle is their CADA. And so I remember going to my first CADA and being so excited. And I talk fast anyway, but I would come back from CADA and just be like full of energy and, you know, couldn't wait to change my campus. And my students were never quite as excited as I was about the whole thing. And I was like, oh, they didn't experience it. And then I realized that if you want them, you know, to not be your followers, but to be other leaders, like you need them to experience their own conferences and come back with their own ideas. And really, that's the only way to move your campus culture forward, is to have them truly invested in being stakeholders, or otherwise they don't really have that why that we always talk about. They're just doing it because we've asked them to do it. So,
and that's, yeah, it's so true. One of the things, like, you know, the schools that don't send their students to these events and to these opportunities, their kids aren't getting that outside perspective from others. And that's, I mean, that networking with other students from across the state. I remember my kids coming back from Castle just talking about, wow, I can't believe this is happening down in LA or up north in the Eureka area. You know, it's like they get that perspective of other students' lives and experiences. All right, so going to the fun stuff for our theme. We've got the leadership mixtape this year. Sandy Curlin, I have seen you boogie down at Castle conferences. I know you have some fun memory from some 80s, 90s era music.
Oh gosh, you know, it's funny. I think like as a kid, I was very serious. And so like, it's interesting to be like, you know, loving Backstreet Boys and whatnot, NSYNC right now. But I think during the time periods, I was all about like Alana Morrison and her serious lyrics of, you know, Irony and Jagged Little Pill album and like all of those. And I think like her whole vibe like spoke to me about things. And I think that's one of the things CADA Castle has done for me, is sort of taught me that there's, you know, you can also have fun with a lot of this stuff as well. So I'm grateful to them for that.
Yeah, I can see you rocking out to Alanis Morissette for sure. All right, be sure to stop by the virtual exhibit hall and click on the Castle booth. And Sandy and some of the other adult Castle board members will be in there to answer any questions that you might have about the Castle program, the conference, the state board, and all that good stuff. Thanks so much for joining us, Sandy.
April 9th through the 12th. Make sure you come to the Castle Conference, and we're excited to see you there. So thanks, Jeff.
Our next guest today is an old friend and one of these other affiliates who was a former CADA member who then created something amazing, and that is Kim Carr, who is the CEO, founder, the big guru of hashtag I Can Help. Good morning, Kim, or good afternoon, Kim, or whatever time of day someone's watching this. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Jeff Culver. I love being here with you. It's so
my gosh,
fun.
It's so much fun. It's like an old family reunion.
I love
all right.
it. I love it.
So tell us a little bit about I Can Help for those that are unfamiliar with the organization.
Absolutely. So I Can Help is a nonprofit that educates and empowers students to use what we call digital for good. So we do everything with digital safety, digital citizenship, and then digital wellness is what we focus on. And we do trainings and we have curriculum. We have events to be able to have students to be able to truly have students be part of the solution for what we're trying to create to make digital for good.
And I would say one of my favorite things that you guys do is the Digital for Good event annually. My son got to go to it one year, and I watched the live stream every year. So much fun. What's coming up for the Digital for Good event this year?
Yeah, so super fun. I love that your son was able to come. So we have it in April 20th to the 23rd. It is a 4-day event just because we want the Zoom to kind of go down. But the first 3 days are the growth event where there's 9 student winners that we're focusing on. And each day we'll have 3. And it's like the Shark Tank where they get to ask the sharks, big tech companies about their projects so that students can actually see the thought process of how they can expand their reach, how they can figure out their vision and mission of their project. And then the 4th day, that's the one we want schools to come to, is on the 23rd, Friday the 23rd, from 10 until 11 Pacific Standard Time. It's going to be the live stream where it's going to show all 9 winners. And then in between that, we have some cool different influencers. Like we just booked the first ever Disney blogger. She was 12. She went and reached out to them. And now she actually still works for Disney in the radio host. So it's just cool to be able to share these different stories of how students are using digital for good. It's amazing. One of our winners this year, actually is from Anaheim, California. So shout out to Paul Chilinsky, who it's one of them, his ASB president is part of it. And they're doing the Teenager Therapy podcast. They actually made this podcast just talking about mental health. It's 5 students. And they actually just did a whole bunch of social media influencers. They just interviewed Prince Harry and Meghan Markle this summer. So it's just super cool to be able to see what students can do when they're using digital for good to make a change in this world.
Very cool. I love that Shark Tank angle. That's super fun. I love me some Shark Tank. Watching the innovation. So it's going to be very cool to see the innovation of our students around the state and the nation that come up with some cool ideas. So tell me, mixtape era, any favorite mixtape 80s, 90s music? I know you have your birthday party every year, Kim Fest, which is always an extravaganza, and music is always involved in that. So any cool, fun mixtape memories?
Oh, it's Salt and Pepper all the way. Yeah. Like Salt and Pepper is I wanted to be Spinderella. Like that's who I wanted to be growing up. I still want to be her. I saw her like 3 times in concert, like 2 years ago when they did the 90s concert tour. So yeah, that's it loved me, the Salt and Pepper.
I can totally see that. I can see that in Kim Carr for sure. And how about CADA? Favorite CADA memories?
Well, Jeff Culver. It was when we were on stage together in 2015. I had to like fangirl over that when we both got the Warren Scholl Award, but
I had a feeling that was going to be your answer. So I did go through my camera roll, and I did find this little gem here, you and I holding our Warren Scholl Activities Directors of the Year Awards in 2015. That was so fun being on stage with you. And that was fun. That was right when, that was the year you were leaving the classroom, I was leaving the classroom, and look at us now. We're sitting on Zoom interviewing each other. Super fun.
We've come so far.
And Kim, you're doing a couple of workshops, or a workshop. Actually, you're doing the pre-con session and a workshop during the convention. Do you remember what day? I forgot to look this up. I screwed this up on the first one too. Do you remember what day the workshop?
Yeah, so the pre-con is on Thursday, the 25th. From 4 until 7. And I'm really excited because for an hour of that, so from 5 until 6, I've actually convinced a lot of our tech companies to come and partner with us and do a whole hour worth of just doing a conversation about digital wellness and what their companies are doing, what you can do at your school to help your students and yourself with your digital wellness. And we actually have the moderator is going to be Sophie Barron, who is a Gen Z activist. So she just graduated from Penn State. So she's going to have that conversation and just be able to help schools navigate this time right now of the digital space, of creating that online community, and to be able to talk about the digital wellness, digital safety, all those different pieces that we need to kind of have. And then my other session is on that Monday, the 3rd, March 3rd.
March 1st. Monday is the 1st. Yeah.
March 1st. Sorry, March 1st.
I know, they're
Monday
all the days.
I know, it's all mixed. So Monday, I'm doing a session. This one, honestly, I actually got hired by quite a few schools, and it's literally called PD Day on TikTok. So it's just everything you can kind of learn off of TikTok. So it's super quick, short little clips. I give you the entire presentation afterwards. It's such a fun thing to be able to learn because there's so many different ideas in a short amount of time.
Very cool. All right. So be sure to visit Kim in the virtual exhibit hall. Click on the I Can Help booth and stop by and say hi and find out what she can do to help you out at your school. to make digital for good. Thanks so much, Kim, for being here, and we will see you at CADA.
Yes, let's do this.
It's good music choice, Ron. Like the background music.
Boy, thank you. Although now I feel like you're making fun of my music.
No, I was playing along. I was dancing. It's good stuff. Virtual exhibit hall is here. We have been building for this for what feels like years. It's been weeks. my echoey voice on your device over there. Yeah, you'll mute while I talk. I love it. Perfect. We're just staying on this screen. Here we go. There we are. Oh, I see myself in the other room. Fantastic. Hey, well, the virtual exhibit hall is underway. Stephanie is laughing at me right now. Like, what's going on? So this has been fun. Like, there's been people popping into the exhibit booths. I've got my CADA Leadership Camps virtual background going on because we have our booth running right now. I've got Al Hopgood from Canada in there. Ron, how you feeling about the whole thing?
I'm feeling really good. It's one of those things, this convention, especially it being brand new, the virtual experience, it's sort of like putting on an activity at your school, right? Like, especially if you're trying out a brand new activity, you're like, okay, some stuff's going wrong. Some stuff, like, it wasn't, you have to kind of fix on the fly. So it's really just, I mean, it can be a little frustrating sometimes, but just really mostly exhilarating, because this is what it feels like to be putting on activities. And this is what we do. This is our thing. And so I feel very much in my element. It's very mentally and physically challenging, but in a good way. So I'm excited, and just the energy, just getting all that feedback from people. Like, this is, I wasn't sure. I didn't think that I was going to feel the same energy, virtual, and to get that positive feedback and that positive energy. And people are loving the keynotes, and they've been enjoying the evening, the nighttime activities. So all of that just makes me feel really good, and just really grateful to be part of such an amazing organization like CADA.
I couldn't agree more. And it's been fun just watching the kind of behind the scenes stuff as we've been trying to troubleshoot little things here and there. These interviews that we've just been airing were super fun to do over the last couple of weeks. A chance for me to really dive in and get to know some of the exhibitors a little bit better. So that's been fun. And I hope that our members will jump into those exhibit hall booths just to touch base. I know some of our exhibitors have had really, really, really hard years. And this is I think a bright spot for many of them as we look towards the next few months as things start opening up. And gosh, I mean, we've all had a tough go of it this year, but some of these businesses have been hit so hard. So we do encourage, just pop in. Even if you may not be interested in the product, you might learn something about that product and be like, hey, I could actually use this and find a way to incorporate this into my leadership program. So we have the scavenger hunt going on. That's at cada1.org/hunt. That's where the instruction sheet is and how to do that. We have raffle prizes, and we actually have our first winner we're going to give away right now. We have a few entries already, about an hour and a half into this. So you have the names, Ron, is that correct?
That is correct. So really quickly, I'm going to just show how to access that. So we go to cada1.org/hunt. That is going to take you to the Google form that you will fill out with all of your information, email address. And then what's going to happen, this is kind of just a little quick tutorial, Rio Norte JHS. All right, so we're going to fill that out. And then if you haven't seen the form, basically what you're going to do for today, you only need to fill out, it's 10 exhibitors, right? So, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, it's 10 exhibitors today, this afternoon, 10 exhibitors tonight.
No, it's only 5 tonight.
Oh, only 5 tonight.
5.
Oh,
yeah, because
we're going to be doing a little balancing of eating dinner and visiting exhibitors at the same time. So we don't want to overwhelm people this evening.
Okay, so so right now, session 1, 10 exhibitors, you see those instructions right there. And then once you get the scavenger hunt answer to the clue or the clue to the answer, whatever, then you're going to go ahead and fill that out with the 10 different exhibitor videos that you watched. And if you're like, Ron, how do I get there? You click there. And then Jeff, give me one exhibitor to visit right now.
Can we visit CADA leadership camps?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to go to CADA leadership camps. I'm going to scroll and okay, so CADA leadership camps is right there. So I'm going to click there. And then if I watch the video, no, where do I find the clue?
I picked the one booth that doesn't have a video. That was really poorly chosen on my part. My bad. Erica is in the other room. She's slapping her forehead because
actually, Jeff, I think you did that on purpose, just so people wouldn't get confused, and we wanted to do a demo. Yes. Okay. So let's try that again. Let's,
So Al Hopgood was just telling us about the Minga video, how funny he liked that, or it was really good or something. I haven't had a chance to watch the Minga video yet.
Got it. Okay. So I'm going to scroll to go to Minga here.
And you're looking at the Bitmoji version of the exhibit hall. Super fun.
Yep. So we scroll through, and then we can find the Minga video here, and I'll click on Minga, and you can get to it either way, either the floor plan way or the Bitmoji way.
And then we have a third way as well, which is just the list. So if you're on a mobile device, we discovered early this morning as we've been doing the final touches that the mobile device doesn't open up on the floor plan very well. So if you have a phone, go to that list and just find the link and click that.
Okay, so here is the Minga video. I don't have my sharing settings set up to play a video, but I'm gonna let you all watch the video, and then in the video, somewhere in the video is gonna be the answer to this right here. So you would then scroll down, and then the question, it's like, what is the exhibitor's favorite song? And so you would go down to Minga, it's all sorted alphabetically, and then you would put down what Jason's favorite song is right there. And then when you have any 10 exhibitors, you click submit, and then that's how you enter the drawing, and there you go. So speaking of drawing, Jeff, are we ready to do that drawing? Is that what we're doing right now?
I think it is time. I'm excited, and we decided you must be present to our live stream, right? The 6 people that are watching right now, no, I'm just kidding. They don't have to be
Actually,
present.
Jeff, we're up to 11 people watching now. So
fantastic. Yes.
to all 11 of you who are watching our live stream right now. Yeah, what's up? Okay. And then I will also give a shout out to my wife because I think she's watching. So honey, I love you, and I'll look forward to
I did send the link to my parents, so they might be out there too. I don't know.
Joy,
Sai, hello.
Heather is one of them, and then Mr. and Mrs. Culver are out there as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click share, and so this is a cool feature in Zoom, right? You can just share part of your screen. All right, so Jeff, do you see the picker wheel now?
I do. I see a picker wheel with names on it.
Okay, and I am going to say, so Paula was our winner. She was our winner last night in the Herf Jones family game night. So Paula, if you get chosen, then we're going to make a big celebration for you, but we're not going to give you the prize because we're trying to spread the wealth. And then
wait, what?
Wait, did we say that no?
I don't think that was in the fine print.
No,
I think Paula's eligible. Paula, if you win, you owe me half.
Or Paula. No, I thought we had a discussion about like spread the wealth. No. Okay,
I think Paula, the fact that Paula is all in on this, I think, if she wins on the spin.
I know. Yes. Okay. It's like it's the part of the teacher part of me that's like trying to, create as many opportunities for my children as possible. All right. So anybody on this wheel can.
Now, after this conversation, Paula may feel so guilty if she wins that she may just give it back and say, give it to Roberta. But
okay. Having said that, I'm going to go ahead. We have 13 people watching now. So I'm going to go ahead and spin this wheel. Spin. Here we go. And here's the sound.
And it was Paula.
And sure enough,
there was no. The fix was not in. I swear.
All right. So, congratulations, Paula. You won fair and square. Oh my goodness, that is hilarious.
That could not have worked out any differently. Although it could just be the artificial intelligence was hearing us say Paula so much that it just.
It's kind of like when when your Amazon or your Alexa listens to what you're saying. Oh, Alexa is listening to me right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so Paula, congratulations. You are the winner of a $25 Amazon gift card. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to email that out to Paula. So Paula, whatever email address you provided in your registration, be checking that email address for an Amazon gift card because it is coming your way via email.
And no fear to the rest of you. We're going to do a couple more drawings before 4 o'clock today. So those of you that didn't win on the wheel still have a chance to pick up that $25 Amazon gift card. And if you just tuned in and you're watching, jump on cada1.org/hunt, do the scavenger hunt and enter your selections. And then our last drawing this afternoon will be just before 3:45. And then we'll be doing this all over again tonight. Stephanie, do we have some additional prizes tonight with the evening session?
Yeah, the exhibitor raffle. So go pop into each exhibit booth and you'll be entered into some of their amazing raffles and we'll be making live announcements for those.
Fantastic. Yeah, we're going to be all live tonight from 7 to 9 promoting the exhibitor raffles and all that fun stuff. So we got a fun night ahead of us after workshops at 4, area meeting at 5, keynote at 6, and then we've got the daily rewind at 7, and then we can go right into the virtual exhibit hall from 7 to 9 tonight. So a full Wednesday. This would have been the day we launched in-person conventions. So we thought we're just going to make this the most fun, active day of the entire week. So we've got a lot on the schedule tonight. We're going to roll back into some of the interviews that I was able to do with our exhibitors moving forward, and then we'll pop back on in about an hour and 15 minutes or so and do those final raffles for this 1 to 4 time slot. And we're going to go from there. So I'm going to get I'm getting a thumbs up from Ron. He's good. So we're rolling it into our videos.
Excited today to talk to a former CADA member who saw a need and created a company called Software for Schools. This is Ben Starr, former Area F Council member. Ben, always love it when we get activities directors who create a cool product that is like from the ground floor up. You were in the trenches and knew exactly what was needed. So tell us a little bit about Software for Schools, how you got started, what you're doing with CADA before you jumped in.
Yeah, awesome. Good to see you again. As far as Software for Schools, I would have never, ever created a company and gone down this path if I hadn't started student activities and really joined CADA at my first year. And it basically, again, like you said, ground up, we were, I had to do dances and school tickets, or tickets to school dances. And we had paper tickets, and our process was to write the kid's name down, and they'd bring the ticket at the end of the week. And then half the kids would cry because they'd lost their ticket, or the principal would come to me and say, their principal would come and say, you know what, hey, these 3 kids can't go. They just got suspended. And I'm like, I don't know who they are, and so I was like, why can't we just scan their ID cards? And I looked all over the place, and there was no software out there that would allow me to scan a kid's ID card to sell them a ticket and to track them when they come into the dance. And a fellow teacher friend of mine was an old school programmer, and we got together, and I'm like, hey, can you help me build this tool? And we built this on like an Access database, and it was just a really kind of quirky little thing. And it got around, right? Everybody, and I'm in Anaheim, and everybody in the district was like, what are you guys doing? That's really cool. And I'd share the idea, and they're like, you should sell this thing. And I'm like, really? And so we ended up, selling it to some other schools, and we went to CADA for the first year as a vendor. And it was like, oh my gosh, everybody got so excited about what we're doing. And that really started the core of our company and our products was around ticketing and attendance for schools.
Fantastic. Yeah. And I actually, when I was an activities director, subscribed to the voting software, and that was like such a game changer in my world, getting rid of Scantrons and standing there for hours, putting Scantron ballots through just to, oh gosh, it was like a godsend. So.
Well, and that's, as we started to grow, right, we have a lot of products and a suite of tools that all work together. The voting software, right, was one of those ones that actually became our biggest application. I mean, CADA still uses it for when they have board member elections as well. And so really it was like, how do we just do elections in a way that's safe, secure, that we can put videos on there and so forth. And so, yeah, a lot of the schools use just the voting. Some of the schools use multiple products, the ticketing, the voting. We also created a student store point of sale system so that parents can go online and buy things. And Kids can pick them up in the store, as well as credit. And there's an intervention application that we've got, and then one for tracking school announcements, which was my particular favorite, because what happened was when we had to submit school announcements, it was constantly, I had to send an email to my principal's secretary, and then she'd lose them and forget what days to read them. And so I created, and this is how I learned how to be a programmer for the first time. And I created a little tool that everybody on our campus could put an announcement in and a start and an end date. And then the principal secretary would say, let's go see all the ones from today. And it would all be there and make it really easy to make sure we communicated with everybody the right way.
Yeah, and streamlining systems to make things easier is the way to go for sure. COVID-19 shutting everything down, just throwing everything into a total state of disarray this year. Is Software for Schools any way you're adapting to that or helping schools as they return? I know your workshop topic on Monday is kind of addressing what post-COVID is going to look like for schools. So you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as what we're doing, we really made a lot of changes within the program to make it easier to track student engagement, whether they're in person or whether they're remote. So, we use barcode scanners and ID cards and things like that, where you can scan kids in person, but when they're not, right, when we go on a Zoom and I love that I went to one of the CADA sessions that you guys had where, you talked about engagement and what kind of things you can do remotely, like virtual dance parties and all these kind of ideas. And so you can have an ASB student or one of your student government just go in there and just quickly start typing the name of a kid, hit enter, start typing the name of a kid, hit enter, and then you can track the engagement even when they're online as well. So a really cool way to do that. And then also, as we think about the entire system working together, we've got a reward system where you can reward kids certain number of points for participating in, an online event and in-person event. But then there's also a store where they can actually redeem those points. So the kid can log in and they can say, well, I've got 25 points or 50 points. I'm going to go buy a Spirit shirt or get a hat or whatever that might be. And then they can get those. And a lot of schools are doing like a weekend pickup or Friday pickup where they drive by and they'd say, okay, great, here's your stuff, and deliver it to them.
Oh, fantastic. The rewards programs are great. We're in the mixtape theme. We've been hearing some fun stories about 80s, 90s music and fun memories. You got something you want to share about 80s, 90s music?
I would say the first thing that came to my mind, and this is going to draw back some memories for some of you guys, that yellow tape cassette that was waterproof, that tape recorder, that tape player that was waterproof. It was like this big. And I remember that as a kid, and we used to go up to the mountains, up to Big Bear, and go skiing. And I remember making my own mixtape for the day that I was going to go skiing with Def Leppard and Guns N' Roses and all this pump up music. So I have it, and I have this big old cassette. And now to think about it, on your watch or your phone, you've got all of your music and AirPods that are disconnected, and just such a different world. But that visual yellow tape thing was just what brought my memories back.
If you still have that somewhere, pull that out and show that at your workshop on Monday. And you can check out Ben doing a workshop about what events are going to look like post-COVID. That's going to be during the Monday session, so you can catch the recording if you haven't seen this video to remind you. And then be sure to stop by the virtual exhibit hall and click on Software for Schools. Say hi to Ben Starr. Ben, thank you so much for joining us today.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeff.
we're talking once again with Sandy Curlin from the Castle organization. And this time we're talking about the most amazing local training you can find anywhere in the state of California or the nation for that matter. Those are leadership development days. Sandy got these kind of grown from seeds, and then they just exploded over the last 15 years within California. Sandy, tell us all about leadership development days.
Yeah, I can still recall being a new ASB advisor and wondering where all the training was of teaching kids how to be leaders. And I stumbled upon like experiential learning, which is the best way to learn, which is of course like you experience it. Because I always struggled teaching concepts like taking initiative. I could never get my students to like take initiative or listen well or have empathy for others, like all these, you know, interesting, we call them leadership skills, which are really like great human skills.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking like, oh, I realized that we're teaching the activities, and then we reflect and kind of secretly be like, oh, and you learned this concept along the way. That's kind of what we would do now. And I was like, maybe I should just make this more intentional, where we really are doing activities geared towards that exact skill. So thus leadership development days, which are of course something that are near and dear to my heart, because I think that they're leadership training without a title. Because it's one of those things where we don't really talk about homecoming or noontime activities. It's really just based on leadership skills. Because I always say we always take the same kids to the trainings over and over and over, and they become experts while, you know, you have 40 of those and the other 2,000 kids on your campus are kind of trailing behind. So I feel like to get everyone on board, it's really cool to gather groups of students on your campus, like avid kids, athletics, yearbook, like all those kids that are leading in some fashion on your campus, and then gathering them together and learning together. So
yeah, what a great opportunity to really broaden the realm of leadership training on your campus. Now, you've done many different formats of these LDDs. I know back when I used to do them with you, it was my high school students would train middle school kids from around our community, and they would come to the school, get a chance to see the high school campus and connect with high school mentors that they would really just, I mean, I would hear freshmen come in and be like, oh my gosh, you were at my LDD. Ah! And so that connection was so amazing. But so what are some of the other formats of LDDs that you've done when they've been in person and when they will be again?
Right. Well, and kind of the same thing now, because we still like obviously do that. But I think the format that you're talking about, Jeff, is like when high school, like as a high school teacher, I was honestly secretly recruiting from my middle school, and I would be like invite them up to do things, and then they kept talking about it and who they remembered the high school kids' names, and they like role modeled. I was like, oh, I think this is something. So the original concept was inviting your middle school up and having your high school host it and creating that connection. And then of course, all of you are more brilliant than I. And you were like, hey, Sandy, we'd actually like it like just our school and our leagues, like our district leagues of, you know, sports people. And I was like, that's brilliant. And then middle school teachers would call me and say like, we'd love to have that same connection with our elementary school. Like we'd love to, and I was like, you're brilliant too. And then it became like great for avid kids. And so everyone really kind of called me with their vision. And then we went with that because we realized also California is just so wide and varied all over. And so I learned that there's little like microisms of places and people everywhere. And so advisors knew their market better than I. And so they were like, this is what we need. And I was like, yes, we could do that.
Yeah, it's very cool. I mean, it's community based. So, you know, we have that local element because we've got our regional with our area conferences and statewide with Castle and CADA. So this allows that real lower cost and lower transportation. I had schools that would actually walk over from their school to ours, so there was no transportation costs at all. What is?
Well, I remember when I was in high school, my middle school was literally like walking distance.
Oh
and
yeah.
we had never even really done anything with them. You know what I mean? And it'd be like a year was like, well, oh, let me walk across the tennis court and go visit the middle school people who I will be working with, you know, later on. And of course, like you want the best district, as you kind of talked about community. So I think, yeah, that's why it's like really heartful.
For sure. Now, with most schools being shut down this year and not having in-person learning, I shouldn't say that. Schools have not been shut down. The physical buildings have been shut down. School's still in session. But without being able to get together in a gym and congregate, how has Castle pivoted the LDD program this year?
Yeah, great question, because again, they were based off of experiential learning. So whenever we would create curriculum, I always ask myself, like, what's a way someone could not participate in this? And if I found a way they could not participate, then that piece of the curriculum was thrown out. Because like everything had to be like, they are going to be engaged the entire time. So when it became, you know, virtual, again, we kind of use that same concept of like, okay, if we're really doing this, because they're called Leadership Unmuted, because the joke is like, you know, kids all stay, I can't believe kids stay muted and they stay with their video off. And I was like, oh, we can't have this. So they're called Leadership Unmuted. And again, we like geared all the activities to where you would have to show, you would have to say something. And it's interesting because I think they sometimes develop those habits from some of their classes, or sometimes they can get away with that. And they're very like habit driven. And we're like, no, you can't do that for the next, you know, couple hours. Like you have to stay unmuted because we are talking and you were talking. So all this to say, we've created the curriculum to be where you, in order to participate, you have to stay unmuted and you have to stay with your camera on. And then we always gear the curriculum towards some educational trends that I think is really important. And of course, this year was an obvious one, which was mental wellness. So all of the curriculum this year is really based off of that. We don't say like, hey, here's an activity about mental wellness, but we do activities and then we talk about it. And it really is geared towards having them have a little more introspective of what makes them happy and joyful, and connecting it to their values and seeing like a value-driven life really is what you're looking for. So
very cool. And then schedule wise, the actual training itself, the LDD for the attendees is about how long?
So it's 3 hours. The interesting thing is like when you're doing it physical, we're like, what time do sports need the gym? That's what I'm living. And so now we're more like, what 3 hour block do you have? So we've done them from 9 to 12. We've done them from 6 to 9 at night. Like they're all over the place.
Great.
So we really just need a 3 hour block plus a 2 hour block for training your facilitators.
That was my next question. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the part I loved. My kids I think my kids got so much out of it being the trainer, you know, being trained and then working with the students. It was such a reciprocal activity for both the attendees as well as the students that were training. So
interesting that we like call them leaders the whole time, but really the point is like I realize they can get away with not being a leader. Like they could go to an area conference and maybe not say anything and just sit and watch, but here you're kind of forced to be the leader. So yeah, my students too, Jeff, we're like the same way. At the end of the day, they're like, oh, we're so tired. Oh my goodness, it was so easy. Welcome to
the life of a teacher. Yes.
Exactly. So yeah, but the 2 hour training for facilitators is phenomenal. The reason most people want to host is they do get that special training, which is really cool. So the cool thing is, again, like now it doesn't matter what area you're from, where normally you're searching for that LED that's within your proximity of space. And now you can just go online and pick any one of them. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, we did some of those, some of the first ones where schools all over California came together. That was fantastic. So CADA1.org/LDD. You can find more information on Leadership Development Days. And then in the CADA programs booth in the virtual exhibit hall, I think you're going to possibly have Brody Castor in there.
Yeah.
So he'll be answering questions about LDDs. So stop in and say hi to Brody. He loves visitors. And look into LDDs for the upcoming school year or even the spring to get your student leaders trained. And thank you again, Sandy, for joining us. And happy mixtape.
Thanks for having me, Jeff. Bye.
Our next guest is Born to Shine's Mike Sullivan, newer to the speaking world. Previously, Mike, you went touring in the music industry. Is that correct?
Exactly. For 15 years.
What brought you over into the speaking world?
You know, I think it was really some divine intervention, Jeff. I had a friend that knew my music pretty well, but he also knew my struggle of being bullied in elementary school and being bullied in middle school and in high school. And I suffered with horrible anxiety, horrible depression, and he knew that struggle. And he knew that I usually tied my songs and the song intros into serving others through music. So he just thought, you know, you could help a lot of kids with your story. And so, yeah, I kind of fell into this, and I absolutely love it. It's such a great way to live, helping others. I love it.
You got to join us at CADA last year in Reno. What was that experience like for you?
It was overwhelming, Jeff. I mean, it was beautiful, but for me, it was my first time. It was such a warm family. All the staff with CADA was amazing, and the schools were just incredible. I loved it, but it was a little overwhelming having 2,000 schools at once, but it was great.
And this past year, sounds like you've had some success with some school bookings, and you've been speaking to a lot of students. Tell us a little bit about what's your message like, and you can probably touch on some of your experiences, but what does that Born to Shine assembly look like, or virtual experience, as the case has been for the last year?
Absolutely. I've been really blessed. 16 schools booked me in December, and that's usually a really slow month for me, but it was an entire school district, Westminster, California. And what my program really is all about is helping your kids learn how to overcome stress, anxiety, and depression so they can shine from the inside out and thrive in school and in life. So I provide. And you know, it's actually, I had a call today with someone from CADA. They're going to bring me to their high schools. And he said, we want to make sure it's interactive. And I let him know, absolutely, it's interactive. I use music as a touring musician, and my music used to be in TV and film. And so I've created these custom support songs where the students can actually get involved, almost like going to a concert when you sing the hook of the chorus.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just playing guitar and I share stories, but then there are 3 specific tools. It's how to really love ourselves, and then how to get the students to really trust themselves, make good decisions in tough situations. So that's loving themselves. And then overcoming their fears and self-limitations that we all put on ourselves. And the third element is living in the moment. So not putting off happiness like I used to do. I used to say, well, I'll be happy when I get to middle school. And then when I was in middle school, I struggled. And I thought, I'll be happy when I get to high school. And then when I was in high school, I struggled. And I thought, well, I'll be happy when I get to college. I'll be happy when I get a great job. I'll be happy when I make my first million. So I kept putting off that happiness. And I know a lot of kids do that too. So it's about getting them right in the moment and appreciating everything they have and how awesome they are right now. And so that's kind of.
And yeah, what a time to really be needing that focus. You hear so much about students struggling right now, but you know, if we shift that dialogue and focus on what you have and what's positive. What a great
absolutely
send out there. So the leadership mixtape, that's our theme this year for the convention. We're playing a lot of 80s and 90s tunes. Do you have any fun, cool memories from 80s and 90s music? I mean, you're a musician, so I'm sure you've got stories galore.
I do. I think I went to so many Van Halen concerts when I was in high school. So any song by, Eddie Van Halen, come on. I mean, I used to worship that guy. So any song by Van Halen, probably Jump. I saw them in Chicago, and who knows, 20,000 people screaming and going crazy, myself included. And David Lee Roth, Alex and Eddie Van Halen, Michael Anthony. Yeah, I'm kind of a band geek. I know. Yeah, Jump. That would be a great one.
And I look forward to the day where we can get back into those 20,000 concerts to celebrate with our fellow man, the world of music. But one last thing to mention, Mike, you're doing a workshop on Monday called Be the Best You. So if you missed that workshop session, you can always check out the recording that will be available on the schedule under Monday. So Mike, thanks so much for joining us and telling us a little bit about yourself. Great having you here. Thanks for being a part of the CADA family.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it, man.
And we are here with Jason Richards, the CEO and founder of the app Minga. Jason, hello, how are you?
I'm very well, Jeff. Great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, we did a video chat back in May when all of this was kind of started, and here we are video chatting again. still talking about fun stuff. But hey, you are one of our exhibitors here this year. We're super excited to have Minga back. We used Minga at CADA leadership camps back when we were still in person. Tell us a little bit about Minga and what you can offer schools.
So Minga, I mean, the great easiest way to put it is there are tons of platforms for the classroom. You think of like Google Classroom and everything else like that. But our schools are so much more than a classroom. And for everything else, for your community, there's Minga. It's a platform built to help you engage, connect, and communicate with your entire school community. That's like students, parents, teachers, admin, everyone all in one place.
Fantastic. And if you were a new user to Minga, like how simple is the setup? What kind of features does it have?
Yeah, so you know, obviously as an administrator, when you're first setting up Minga, there's a 20 minutes of configuration just to tune it to exactly what you want. But the bigger question that most people are concerned about is how is this going to get adapted and adopted by like my student body or by our other educators? And if they can sign up for Instagram, Minga will be a breeze. So yeah, we look and feel very much like a social media platform from a user's perspective, and it's extremely seamless.
Yeah, very, very slick interface going on there. That was one of the popular features that we had when we used it during camp. How long have you been involved with CADA, Jason?
Let's see. This virtual CADA conference will be, from a Minga perspective, I think this will be our third.
Okay, awesome.
I've been to a couple CADAs when I was just sort of getting mixed into education before that. With Matt from I Can Help, he dragged me down and said, "You need to check this out." And yeah, so I've seen a few extras.
Okay, and any cool, fun CADA memories from our conventions or working with CADA schools?
You know, the CADA conference and the CADA community is extremely unique for us. As a vendor, you know, we see education across like all states and provinces in North America. There is nothing that I've ever seen that comes even close to representing the CADA community or the CADA conferences. It's really amazing to see how close everyone is, how connected they are, how much they share.
Yeah, we hear that from a lot of our affiliates that travel around different states and things, how close-knit and family-oriented CADA is. So we love having Minga as part of the outward family there. We've got this mixtape theme. Love talking about 1980s and 90s music. Any cool concerts you attended or fun music memories or favorite artists?
I mean, I was a 90s kid, so I high schooled through the 90s and college through the 90s. That's definitely my era, and I'm so fortunate that my 15-year-old now, 90s hip hop is like her favorite music too. So we're still doing the 90s. It's still happening. I think her favorite show is probably Fresh Prince. So it's like we're going. It's nonstop. Cool concert. So this is a 90s band that my wife and I went to a few years ago in Vegas, and it was Boys to Men.
Oh yes, Boys to Men on Bended.
Oh, it was. So this was just a few years ago, maybe like 17 or 18. They have a standing show at one of the hotels, and it was literally like a rewind. It was amazing. So that was actually one of my favorite 90s concerts. I just had to wait 20 years to do it.
So true. Well, Jason, you are doing a workshop on Wednesday. So on the schedule, if you're interested in seeing what Jason has to present, you want to talk a little bit about what that workshop's going to touch on?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about. It's not Minga specific, but obviously you can use Minga for it. But we're going to be talking about how like your digital culture and your you know in-person culture, how those two things work together, and how you can really leverage your digital culture to help build that in-person and personal culture. You know, within your school community, we're going to be looking a lot at starting to come back to school as well. How do you start? That digital culture is going to be a little bit more important, I think, because we're gonna probably lose assemblies again next year. We're gonna lose rallies. We're gonna lose big dances, the things where we could get everyone back together. But you know what? If we can put some faces back and some bums in seats again in the school, I think there's an amazing opportunity next year to leverage digital culture for that to replace some of those mass events that we had until we can start to bring it back. And then, it'll still be shifting into how digital culture helps promote and drive attendance and engagement. So we're going to be talking digital culture and in-person culture, how those two things intersect.
Perfect and very timely. So look for that on the schedule on Wednesday. You can also catch the recording if you happen to miss the Wednesday workshop. But Jason, thanks so much for joining us today. Stop by the exhibit hall and click on the Minga booth and say hi to Jason. Thanks a lot, Jason.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, Jeff.
Hey, we're here today with Greg Roach from 5 Star Students. Good morning, Greg, or good afternoon, I guess, whatever the case may be.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning.
So tell us a little bit about 5 Star. What do you do? What's involved with your company? How do you support schools?
Basically, I'm an ex-activities director from Chaparral High School down in Temecula. And I always believe, just like every other teacher on the planet believes, students that are engaged and involved are more successful. And I set out to prove it, but the first thing I discovered was I didn't really know who was involved. I mean, I had lists and some spreadsheets, but realistically, we didn't know who was going to things and who was doing things on campus. And so I was trying to do it all on paper. And finally, I had a buddy that worked for Hewlett Packard, and he and I got together and we built 5 Star Students to pretty much answer that question. Who's engaged on your campus, who's involved, and at what level. Now, granted, that was 12 years ago, and we've basically done a lot since. I mean, now the program actually is a positive behavior tracker. It's an engagement piece for activities and events. This year, actually, I'll get to that in a second, but basically it does quite a bit. It also tracks interventions for study halls and whatnot. So trying to make it as easy as possible for teachers to find those answers.
Sounds like all the things that administrators and activities directors are looking for to help with the data that they're trying to prove through their WASC accreditations and all that good stuff. So you alluded a little bit to this year. So it's been a crazy pandemic year. A lot of companies have had to kind of reinvent, pivot, create new products. Do you have anything that's adapting to the pandemic situation?
You know what? Our biggest source of information, like you said, is administrators and teachers, and they kind of tell us the direction that 5 Star needs to go in and what they want. And this year it was a resounding: we want to get back to school as quickly and normal as possible. However, we need, basically we need to know if the students should be coming back. Are they healthy? Do they have a cough? Do they have COVID? Had they had COVID? Very soon, will they have had the vaccine, et cetera? And so we built a health check piece into the system to where schools can actually tie a survey to the health check piece that they can do before they even get to school. And basically you take that survey and say, no, I don't have a cough. I haven't been around anyone with COVID. I don't have a fever. And by the time you get to school, the school checks them in, and that clears them for the day. by the time they get to the classroom, the teacher either has access on their computer or they can show proof right on the student app.
Oh, fantastic.
So trying to get back to normal.
That's great. And I think that's probably going to be one of those things that schools are definitely going to be looking toward using and helping to track their students. Well, we love having 5-Star at CADA. I know you and some of your colleagues are presenting a couple of workshops. Do you remember what day you're presenting those workshops?
I think we're, I know Heidi, I believe, is doing a little more advanced 5-Star version with houses, with talking about houses and groups. And I think that's on Tuesday in the afternoon.
I should look that up before we started, but
yeah, that's all right.
Putting you on the spot.
And then I actually have a calendar here. I can look at it. And then Thursday is my presentation on, basic engagement data piece that just really tells about the program and student engagement and how to track it, even if you don't use our program.
Perfect. And so those workshops, if you missed one of them, the Tuesday one, those will be available via recordings in the app. So check that out on Tuesday and Thursday on the schedule. So tell us a little bit, Greg, how long have you been involved with CADA?
I believe this is my 23rd year, not 24th year with CADA. So as a teacher, activities director, and all that.
Favorite CADA memory?
Gosh,
too many.
No, there were a lot. Really, it's just I just remember from the beginning, I would go to sessions and I wouldn't be able to write fast enough with the ideas that people are throwing out, and I was always a goal to come home with one good idea, and it was even years into the career, it was dozens. I mean, of ideas. And the big challenge, obviously, is to stay excited afterwards to make those ideas happen.
Absolutely. All right, and here we are in the mixtape convention. Do you have any great memories from the 80s or 90s in the mixtape era, music bands?
Okay, well, I graduated from high school in 1984. And the very first concert I went to, and I was never really that big of a concert guy, but my girlfriend at the time said, hey, well, let's go to this concert with my parents, of course. And we went to Journey.
Oh.
I just remember being blown away by this. Oh, this is what a concert is. This is pretty cool. I'm enjoying this. And obviously, the music and everything. I mean, those were new songs back then.
Yeah. And, Journey is still like living on through CADA convention. Those dinner dances, those are some of the most popular songs that are played on those Friday.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No,
all right, Greg. Well, thanks for joining us today. Be sure to stop by Greg's booth, the 5-Star Students booth in the virtual exhibit hall, Wednesday or Thursday. You can also check out their entry on the exhibitor listing, and you can contact them anytime. Greg, thank you so much, and good luck.
Thanks, Jeff. You too. Take care.
And up next, we are meeting with the famous, the amazing, the wild and crazy, Mr. Tyler Derman. Hey, Tyler, it's good to see you.
Hello, sir. How are you, Jeff? Good to see you and everybody.
Yes, I've missed seeing you in person, and but this is not so bad.
No, and I just realized, Jeff, I have to apologize to you and everyone who's watching because I realize I'm wearing these earbuds, and I typically on Zoom wear these because I've come to realize that I have incredibly sexy ears, and it's just. I'm sorry to everybody, I don't want to do this, but the nice thing about virtual is I don't have to slap hands away all the time, so that's good. But anyway, I'm glad to be with you.
It's good to have you here. Hey, so tell
Thank
us
you.
a little bit about Tyler Durman as a speaker. What do you talk about, and how do you handle that?
Well, that's a nice question. I speak to parents, students, and to educators. I'm a former high school teacher. This just shows how old I am, but I've spoken to over 4.5 million students live, which is more than anybody else. Yeah, I've been tricking people for a lot of years. And in recent years, probably the last 15 or so, I realized the best way to help schools and students is to help parents clarify their role and really understand what their kids need. And an exciting thing about it has been that I've also discovered that really helps schools. Teachers who are my friends and administrators who are my friends continually tell me the biggest problem, if not one of the biggest problems, is parents. And so what we do is we come in either virtually, we're doing a lot of that, or live, and hopefully that'll happen soon, and do assemblies where we get all the kids into one room. We make them laugh, we make them think about their lives. And what we do is we then, help them understand both individually and as a group of people how important it is to be a part of the school family. And what we've done is, and I use a lot of humor because as you can tell, I'm incredibly funny.
Totally, absolutely.
Yeah, and so what we do is we then use the students, and this isn't necessary, but we've discovered, particularly in the live setting, that the students are excited about having been with me, and we let them know that they're going to want to get their parents to show up for the parent event, whether it's virtual or physical, because I'm going to tell their parents things they want their parents to hear. And the turnout has been blowing everybody away because schools are getting and engaging more parents than they ever dreamed possible. And so we get the parents in the room, and actually, Catherine Pastor, who was the 2016 National School Counselor of the Year. She's wonderful. Got to meet Michelle Obama and the whole deal. But she called me the antidote to helicopter parenting, which can be a gift to administrators because we have overprotective parents who think it's the school's job to raise their kid, parents who don't understand that their kids need to be responsible for their behavior. All those things are the byproduct of what we're doing. And last night I actually did one for schools down in San Diego. We had over 300 parents sign up for it. It was an amazing turnout virtually.
Great.
Yeah. So that's what I do. I'm a best-selling author of a book called See How Wonderful I Am. And
they're on my bookshelf right here.
It probably is. Actually, the book's not called See How Wonderful I Am. I
No,
just
it's
feel
not.
cheesy saying best-selling author. But you pay a lot of money for that title, so you might as well use it. It's a book for parents and teachers. And here's what I'm excited about, Jeff, and then I'll shut up, is we're about to launch within the next 4 to 6 weeks a workshop that's going to be virtual. It's actually a masterclass for parents and for teachers who are working with middle school and high school students to really bring clarity. Been working on it for 2 years. It's going to be a big deal. We're going to be releasing it internationally. And so anyway, we want to keep CADA posted on that, of course, but that's what we're into. My life is, I'm passionate about, my ears and then keeping them clean. And then secondly, about helping families.
Family in that order. I had a chance to actually watch you do your evening presentation to parents when our local middle school
you to come. You came. Yeah, that was awesome.
That was an amazing experience.
Thank you.
To watch you do your thing. So the last year with COVID it's really affected a lot of speakers. I've heard you talk about some virtual experiences. So how has the last year been for you within the speaking world?
It's been awesome. And let me tell you why. I don't have to fly in airplanes, which is nice. No, but it's been really wonderful because it's given me the chance, I'm continually creating new material based on the needs of the client. It keeps my job interesting. I have friends who have, and nothing wrong with this, but they have one speech they do wherever they go. And I would have a hard time being not going stale with that. But there's certain specific needs, of course, schools, families, teachers. I have a virtual presentation for educators that I'm getting well received, both pre-recorded and live kind of stuff. But It's giving me a chance. Did you see that little burp? I just
I did.
tried to hide it. You did?
I
Okay.
wouldn't even really called it out, but you know.
Yeah, well, I'm good at that. I got to do that on stage a lot. But it's been great to create new material for students about the issue of their mental health and just the loss that they're either experiencing now or going to later whenever that kicks in their personal life. So I've been enjoying it. It's been wonderful and really personal. I'm used to being in front of, hundreds or thousands of people, and it just feels so much more one-on-one, a lot like this.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, you've been a CADA mainstay for many years. I feel like you were one of the original speaker sponsors.
I actually am the original speaker sponsor. And if you track CADA history, I'm the one who started CADA.
Oh, okay.
And I came up with that idea when I think I was 6. I'm kind of a go-getter. I've been around CADA forever. I really have.
Yeah, you've got to have some really fun memory or a favorite memory of some CADA experience.
Oh, I do. And that sounded like such a spontaneous question, Jeff. I haven't done any pre-thinking on that one. No. By the way, Jeff, you're really good at this. Honestly, it's hard to do what you're doing. My favorite memory is speaking. Twice I got to do the Friday morning keynote, and a few years ago, I did one a few years ago, and then the following year, this speaker I've been mentoring since before CADA in his life, Houston Kraft.
HK, baby.
And he's doing great stuff.
Yes,
I'm so proud of him. He was a kid then, he's not anymore. But when he did his keynote a few years ago, he spent a full 8 minutes just saying thank you to me from stage and talking about the impact I'd had in his life. That's probably my favorite CADA memory, besides all the friends I've met, like you.
That is awesome. Yeah. I think I might have teared up during Houston's.
Yeah, probably. Because it wasn't me speaking, is that why?
So silly.
No, I'm sorry.
And then we're asking for mixtape 80s, 90s music memories as well.
Oh, if you're watching this, both of you who are watching this, Jeff and his wife, whoever ends up watching this, Friday, I think at 4:00, I have a workshop called The Hug, and I want to invite you to come. It's going to help you where you're at in your life. It's stuff that's really changed my life. Mixed tape. The only thing that came to my mind was Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Okay.
It's the 80s song. I don't even remember. I don't know who sings it. I forget. They got a one-armed drummer.
Might have been Warrant or
no.
Def Leppard?
Def Leppard.
Yeah,
that's it.
Def Leppard.
He's got his ripped jeans. And I just thought, I love storytelling. And I thought that title and that chorus, Pour Some Sugar on Me. Of course, we're not going to describe what it means to me.
I was afraid where you're going to go with this, but
yeah, you should be. It's me. But I just thought, what a brilliant theme for a song, because it's so visual. And when I communicate I'm a visual learner. So anyway, plus the song's cool. I haven't listened to it since the 80s, but that's all I got for you, Jeff.
Well, that was great. And you stole some of my thunder. I was going to plug your workshop here at the end, but
you were
done that. Yes. So
go ahead.
Yeah,
go
Tyler
ahead.
Doing a workshop Friday called The Hug. I'm assuming it's going to be some sort of virtual hug, unless you're going to be
not at all. It's going to be
doors and just
it'll be different.
Them. That'll be great.
Yeah, it'll be different than you would expect. We're going to laugh together, but I think it's going to be profound. I really am excited about it.
And are you going to be in the virtual exhibit hall? I know you're infamous at our in-person exhibit hall for wandering the room during
disappearing
exhibit hall time. So
yeah, I am actually.
Okay,
I'm going to be just right here, waiting for my one friend to click on. Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah,
stop by,
I look forward to it.
Click the Tyler Derman Hope for Parents icon in the virtual exhibit hall and stop by and say hi to Tyler. And if you've never met him, introduce yourself. If you know him, then I'm sure it's going to be a great moment to catch up. Thanks a lot.
Keep your hands off my ears, okay? All right. Yeah. Sorry. Thanks so much, you guys. I'm grateful for you. Talk to you soon.
And up next, we are meeting with Derek Sage, who is the head honcho, the owner, the creator, the founder. Like, I don't know what word you use, Derek, but he's the guy behind SOS Entertainment. Derek, I love how we met. I'm never am a person to take cold calls, but for some reason, it was like 2005, 2006. I picked up my office phone and it was you just cold calling me. And I happened to need a DJ for homecoming in like 2 weeks. I can't even believe at this stage in my life that I didn't have a DJ 2 weeks out. And I was like, hey, yeah, why don't you come do homecoming for us? And so started the Derek and Jeff bromance.
There you go. Oh man, 2015. That is like a serious throwback.
Yeah, for real.
You just dated us big time, man.
A little bit, yes. So tell us about SOS Entertainment, what you do for schools, what you do just in general.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Well, thank you first off for doing this. It's really nice of you guys, and in this crazy digital world we're living in, it's nice to at least have a couple more face-to-faces. And not have to cold call on people, you know. But that is a good testament to why you got to just pick up the phone and reach out sometimes. So I'm glad we got to meet, and I appreciate everything you're doing, man. Yeah, so SOS, I guess in short, since Jeff alluded, we've been around for quite some time doing DJ, sound, lighting, entertainment, production related services for all sorts of clients, but have specialized in schools for forever. I started DJing when I was in 6th grade, and between doing kids' birthday parties and then the middle school's dances, was very involved in my high school's dances, and even had to DJ one of them when the DJ bailed last minute. So
nice.
I had to tell my date, sorry, I'm not going to winter formal with you. I have to work. But yeah, shout out to Todd Aerosmith. Yeah. Oh man, that's kind of been the story for a long time. Like, sorry, honey, I have to work. I know everyone's going out tonight. So yeah, in a nutshell, we've started DJing, but that, of course, as most things do in life, became a little more involved, and we clarified what our mission was and reason for our existence as a business under the context of working with students. And really came to love how ASB, and especially over the years, has evolved into more of a leadership-focused group. And we've became pretty committed and believing in the concept that ASB really is kind of that nucleus on campus for most cultural and like everything amazing, you know. So if we could work with these leadership superhuman students, that seemed like a pretty cool gig to us. So we of course do corporate events and weddings, and anytime someone needs some sound, lighting, staging, or entertainment work, we're pretty game. We have a couple of different departments, especially in like the nonprofit and philanthropy world, doing their galas and stuff like that are also very strong. But I would have to say our strongest since the beginning has always been working with schools.
Yeah, and I'll tell you talking about that leadership aspect. It was always cool working with you guys, because you would come out, or you'd send people from your team to come out and actually do leadership lessons with my students, which was it's kind of like a different aspect of what you see from a lot of entertainment companies. So that was a really cool component of what you've kind of included as part of your overall business plan. Speaking of business, this year's been weird and has been super hard, especially on your industry, the DJ and event planning group. So how have you kind of coped with COVID-19? Like, what have you kind of pivoted to do to help schools at this point? What can you provide for the rest of the school year?
Yeah, wow, that is a big question. So
we have a couple more minutes.
Okay, all right. That was like 4 questions in one. So yeah, pandemic was just absolute insanity and fire drill, you know, for the event industry. Obviously, we were, I guess, in essence, kind of the first to go completely like, stop doing all this big social gathering, stop it. And remember, you know, very, very clearly that week in March, where like the first event canceled, and then the second, and then, you know, hundreds of events essentially everything for the year canceled, and it was supposed to be our biggest year ever. And, we were at 30 full-time employees in multiple offices in California. We're doing a ton of stuff in Nevada. And that came to like a complete screeching halt. We were able to kind of pick up the pieces. We had to do layoffs. We've been, selling off a lot of unnecessary equipment that we knew would just sit and collect dust, and vehicles that don't do well if you don't drive them for a whole year and that type of thing. But we were able to try to pick up the pieces a little bit and just do what I would think good businesses are going to try to do, and get innovative. It's one of our core values. We've got these 12 company core values that we're really big on, and like, guys, it's time to buckle down and to get gritty and to innovate. We did do a handful of COVID-friendly events this year, and it actually started primarily with graduation last year. So we snuck in about 20 different COVID-friendly graduations. I love, of course, to talk about that a little bit here, but just to kind of finish this question, we've just been patiently waiting and trying to hibernate as much as possible, and a lot of damage control and loss mitigation, and just things that you don't really ever want to deal with or ever you could even imagine. We're not special. Everyone has suffered greatly from this, and I'm sure one of the lessons we've all learned is it could be worse, right? So I hesitate to complain, but I've certainly had a very rough year, and I've lost 20 years of momentum and work, and won't mention the financial losses, but that's pretty sketchy as well. But we're feeling optimistic. Humans have a way of bouncing back. That's what we do. So, and there's been a lot of silver lining, and of course things could have been worse. So net of it all, we have, to answer your question, been keeping busy. And for a while, the job was just how to clear out a warehouse, or how to sell a bunch of stuff, or how to go through the decor department again and relabel everything, or whatever we could think to have our people do. So we still have our core key people, and now we're seeing some light at the end of the tunnel here. So
great. Yeah. And I do always love your optimism. That's one of the character qualities about Derek Sage that is always super amazing. You did mention COVID-19 friendly events, and you're doing a workshop on that on Wednesday. You want to touch just a little bit on kind of what that's going to look like?
Yeah, absolutely. Super excited about that. And thank you for the platform. You guys have always been so gracious in letting us kind of share what's in our hearts and minds. And, going back to even presenting in your classroom, we didn't want to just be there to be like, what do you need from us? And let's talk about this dance. I felt like if we can dig a little deeper and understand things like core values and belief systems, and just what makes people tick, and, understand a little bit about psychology. And the obvious outcome of COVID-19 in relation to the event world is that humans would be able to start doing the things again that humans need to do. And we need to socially gather, and we need to celebrate students. We need to have events. It's just kind of what we do as humans, and when we're on our deathbed, we're not going to think back of the times that we sat doing paperwork or in a DMV line. We're going to think of a handful of things, and all of them were pretty much events with a capital E, like it was a wedding or a this or a that, or even this unexpected event. And I used to tell a story in a workshop about my cousin, this amazing kid. His name's Johnny. And anyway, his mom actually just passed away this week, and it's a story about him and his mom. Johnny has Down syndrome, and just what events did for him, being able to go to dances in high school, and then people from leadership organizations that really helped him. And he won prom king, and his whole life just completely changed because of these miracles that can happen when people come together, right? And that's it. Miracles don't really happen when everyone stays locked in their rooms. And so you need people to come together so that nature can take its course and these beautiful things can happen. I met my wife at an event, while I was working, and we have a baby on the way that should be here in maybe less than 7 days, maybe in 5 minutes. I don't know. I'm keeping my phone on extra loud. But yeah, in the workshop, we talk about, yeah, there's things we can't do, but there certainly is a lot that we can do. And, you know, what we can do, what we can become, we should become. I've always felt that tragedy in life is potential unmet, you know, something that could have been. And it wasn't for some tragic reason, like we just didn't try, or we weren't creative, or we didn't reach out to get some resources and some ideas and some help. So we're just, yeah, like all of our workshops, we're just here to help share some ideas. And there are a lot of really, really innovative ASB and leadership classes that we work with. And we'd like to kind of take some of those secrets and share them if people haven't heard of how to pull a COVID-friendly graduation, or what do we do for our seniors of 2021. I mean, 2020 had it bad, but 2021 has had like 0.0 anything for social events. Yeah, so, you know, don't cancel prom, don't cancel grad night. That's a terrible message to send our class of 2021 right now. And, you know, you probably can't have the normal thing that you were going to plan, but you could have a huge event in the parking lot. We have this really exciting event that we've modeled and kind of suggested list of items on a program that would make this event, if they have to stay in their cars, it could still be this really fun, amazing event, huge inflatable screens and lots of entertainment value. And that social piece, you know, the mental health is the buzzword. I'm sure that will be the buzzword of everyone's presentations. And it's important because it's real. That's the real.
A lot of those on the docket this year for sure. It's the big topic of the year for sure. All right, we've gone very long on this interview, which is great because you know it's always awesome catching up. So, in very brief, the fun end questions here. Favorite mixtape era memory for you? 80s, 90s music. You're a DJ. You've got to have 100,000 of them. So just give us your favorite.
Yeah. Man, I sit in music all the time, and so when I think 80s, 90s, especially because I have 3.9 kids right now, I actually go to like movies. So I was kind of preparing, like, man, you know, the Gremlins and just some of these iconic 80s movies, Princess Bride, and I'm having my kids watch all these instead of some of the new stuff. So yeah, I certainly loved making mixtapes and all that jazz, but I feel like the 80s movies were really iconic. So those were just a couple of ours that we've been catching on online recently. Rad was this cool bicycle 80s flick, and yeah, just all that just made you a weirdo kid back in the 80s.
Awesome.
I'm an 80s baby, so yep, love
All right,
it.
Derek. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Be sure to visit Derek Sage in the SOS Entertainment booth in the virtual exhibit hall and check out his workshop. If you miss it live on Wednesday, the recording will be available on the schedule. Thanks a lot, Derek.
Awesome. Thank you so much. See you, Jeff.
I'll tell you what, Ron, this music's good too. I like this one. Ooh, Derek Sage wrapping up our series of interviews today. Like, I mean, when you talk about resilience, that guy is like the epitome of resilience. And it's just devastating watching what he's gone through this year, but he's such a positive outlook. It's so inspiring. And he's having a baby, like as we speak. The rumor is that his workshop is still going to happen today, but it may be the pre-recorded version that he prepared. in the event that baby number 4 is on the way. So we want to make sure that baby got here in plenty of time for him to do the dance on Friday night. Is that is that true, Ron?
Yes, yeah, we kind of worked it all out and had the schedule in place so that it would work out perfectly. So best wishes to Derek and to Keely and
Absolutely.
yes. Okay, Jeff, is there anything else that we want to discuss before we spin this wheel, or do we have are we building up anticipation?
I don't know. I feel like the anticipation should build up a little bit longer. Like, now's our chance to talk a little bit about what Wednesday night is going to look like. We've got quite the programming slate on the way. We got workshops coming up in just under a half an hour. Today we have 16 options. I mean, there's so many choices on the workshop slate. So be sure to look through that list. You can check the at a glance sheet. We also have those 30-second previews you can breeze through in about 8 minutes or less to figure out which session you want to attend live. And then I just finished about 10 minutes ago getting all of yesterday's recordings posted in the app. So all of Tuesdays are available for viewing. Of course, you're not going to want to do that today because we've got so much programming going on. Right after workshops end, we're going to transition right into our annual area meetings. And we have some area elections going on this year. All of them uncontested, so it's going to be a vote of acclamation. But areas A, C, E, and G are in that cycle this year for either electing or re-electing their area coordinators. So we're going to see some new faces for areas A, and E this year, and then also in G, because Bonnie moving up to the vice president position. So 3 new area coordinators come into the CADA board the coming year, which is always exciting to get fresh perspectives and ideas. Right after the area meetings wrap up, we are going to go into our Wednesday night general session. And Ron, you want to talk a little bit about tonight's keynote?
Absolutely. Now that I'm unmuted, I would love to talk about tonight's keynote. Tonight's keynote is she's from all the way from Ferguson, Missouri. She was Teacher of the Year for St. Louis Public Schools. She has numerous accolades. She did a TED Talk for ISTE 3 years ago. Her name is Patricia Brown. And so very excited to bring her. She is an educator. So she's one of us as a fellow educator. But sometimes she's very focused on digital equity, also on social justice. So tonight she's going to be talking to us about how to have conversations about racial justice with our students, how to have conversations about racial justice with our staff members and our teachers. So really looking forward to this evening hearing from Patricia Brown. And then, of course, after that, we have the Daily Rewind. It's going to be a quicker Daily Rewind because we have so much stuff scheduled this evening with the area meetings first and then our general session. And then a quick Daily Rewind tonight, followed by our virtual exhibit hall, which opens up at 7 p.m. So then, Jeff, if I may just share a quick thing about tomorrow. So tomorrow, I just want to give a plug about tomorrow. So similar schedule to what we were used to on Monday and Tuesday. We have the general session starting at 5 o'clock. We have Dr. Tim Elmore as our keynote. I know.
I'm sorry, fanboying right now.
Yeah, fanboying just a little bit. So Tim Elmore, author of Marching Off the Map, generational researcher. He's actually just recently did a book on the pandemic as well as it relates to his generational research. So he's actually going to be speaking to us. He's going to have an hour keynote tomorrow, followed by a 30-minute Q&A afterwards. So tomorrow will be the longest of all of the general sessions, the Thursday evening general session. So make sure you stick around for that. And then after that, then we'll have our dinner break as we're used to, and then the Daily Rewind. And then following the Daily Rewind, we will have our arts, crafts, and culture night. So 3 different rooms you'll be able to choose from tomorrow night, Thursday evening. The first room will be our arts room, our arts and crafts room, really, with Janet Roberts. Janet, for the first part of the evening, is going to be doing calligraphy. So calligraphy, you can do calligraphy and like fancy writing that you can do with just stuff that you have in your home. If you have a felt tip pen and a Crayola type marker, then you can join in on this class with with Janet. She's so crafting, so clever. She has her like Facebook page that's just for creative. You know, she paints. Like Janet's pretty amazing. She's a woman of many talents, and also a past CADA president, as a matter of fact, as well.
You mustn't forget that.
I know. And so so one room is going to be the arts and crafts room with Janet. We're going to have, oh my goodness, family TikTok dances. And Diane and Mason from Castle, from the Castle State Board, they are going to be, they taught us a TikTok dance at CADA Summer Leadership Camp in 2020, just last summer.
Yes,
and so
they did.
They are going to be teaching family TikTok dances. I think they have like 2 or 3 different dances. And so you can either, if you want to learn a dance to teach to your own students, or if you have the family in there, it will be family TikTok dances in room 2. And then finally in room number 3 is going to be, if you don't necessarily want a Zoom experience, kind of you know, if you don't want that interaction and you just kind of want to be an audience member, then Scott Bakovich is going to be hosting our first ever, very excited to bring this to CADA, our Pecha Kucha night. So we're going to have, I think it's 5 or 6 different storytellers, and the Pecha Kucha format, it's a Japanese word that means, it's chit chat in Japanese. And Scott, you'll hear Scott pronounce it better than I do. He will pronounce it Pecha Kucha. And so 6 different storytellers, and they are going to tell their story in exactly 20 slides, 20 images, and 20 seconds per slide. It's a format that it really kind of, you have to really hone your story. Unlike me, I have difficulty sometimes condensing things and sharing things in few words and in few. Yeah, Jeff. You're muted, by the way. Everybody else is just seeing the expression on your face.
So I can hear the background.
Yes, that's true. So in total, 6 minutes and 40 seconds to tell your story. So 5 kind of newer speakers onto the scene, and then at the very end, and Scott will be hosting. Scott Bakovich will be our host for the evening, and then at the very end, we have our special guest storyteller Houston Kraft is going to be joining us.
Fantastic.
And Houston, of course, we have known and has been a friend to CADA for many, many years. And so very excited about Pecha Kucha. And then, of course, whatever let's say you decide you want to do some TikTok dances with the family, you're going to be able to watch the Pecha Kucha night at a different time, or, you want to watch the JR's calligraphy and macrame. I almost forgot about macrame.
Yes,
She's also going to be teaching us how to make a macrame plant holder, because macrame is like the new big popular thing now.
And I should add, if you're interested in the calligraphy or the macrame, in today's liner notes email that went out, there's a list of supplies that she's recommending you get a hold of ahead of time. So you can run it to the store tonight or tomorrow if you want to get a hold of those things, if you'd like to participate in that session.
Good deal. All right. So, Jeff, are we now ready to spin the wheel, or do we want to do some more promo stuff? Or?
It's 3:41. I feel like we should wrap this up by 3:45 so that we can let people start making their way to a restroom break before they head to their first workshop session. So I think it's time for the wheel.
All right. So let's go ahead.
Break on the wheel.
All right. I'm bringing it on. I am bringing it on. All right. So let's go ahead and
Stephanie's flagging you down. Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, we have 3 more names to add to the list. So while that's happening, Ron, I'll have you mute yourself. And we are going to be doing another scavenger hunt tonight from 7 to 9. So all the people that entered today during the 1 to 4, you're now going to be wiped away. So at 7 to 9 tonight, there's going to be a whole new scavenger hunt with a brand new question, brand new answers to look up. You only have to find 5 this evening between the hours of 7 and 9. So if you'd like to participate again this evening with an additional scavenger hunt, another chance to win some Amazon gift cards, join us and jump into those virtual exhibit booths. You ready, Ron?
I'm ready, Jeff.
It was like Belle Biv DeVoe, or you ready, Ron? I'm ready.
I'm ready, Slick.
Yeah, there it is.
Yes. All right. I'm now going to do the screen share. I will hone in specifically on the Wheel of Destiny. By the way, I'm on pickerwheel.com. There are other ones like this. And what you do is, because as a teacher, I would want to know this. So I just put in all the names here, and then they appear in the Wheel of Destiny here. All right. I'm going to back up and hone in right here. All right, here we go. We are spinning the wheel to determine who will be our next winner of a $25 Amazon gift card. Here we go.
This is very exciting.
Get that clicking sound. And so congratulations, Michelle. Wow, that sound was loud. Congratulations, Michelle. So that is Michelle Aguirre. Michelle Aguirre from Pakuma K8.
Excellent.
Congratulations.
The whole backstage CADA team clapping right now. We're all very excited for Michelle. Do we have enough in the budget to do one more? I think so. Okay, let's do another one, Ron. Woo! Spin the wheel. Spin the wheel.
All right, got to give the people what they want. Okay, so what we're going to do here with Pick or Wheel, Michelle, don't take it personally, but I'm clicking hide choice, right? Because we're trying to, spread the wealth. Once again, that was Michelle Aguirre from SBCUSD. Michelle is line 16 on the spreadsheet. Okay, we are now, so I'm going to hide Michelle. So she is now removed from the wheel. So now we're going to give everybody else a shot. And here we go. We're going to spin that wheel.
Oh, that is deafening. Ashley!
All right, Ashley. And this is Ashley Schoolfield from Justin Garza High School. Congratulations, Ashley.
Paula Fitzpatrick won in the first drawing that we did about an hour ago. So we've had 3 winners this session. We'll have more winners tonight. Again, between 7 and 9, we're doing a whole new scavenger hunt, and you can find that access at cada1.org/hunt, H-U-N-T. And then our exhibitors also, some of them are participating this evening to give away some raffle prizes as well. So tonight's going to be a lot of fun, and it's a really great chance to connect with those affiliate members. These are the partners that help us out with our school programs. And as we've talked about earlier, many of them have been hurting drastically this year. Some of them have pivoted big time to move forward in the pandemic era. And so they really appreciate the visits today and just the chats. Even again, if you're not in the market for purchasing something, just the friendly smile on the face, and you might find something you didn't even realize they were making available through their services. So please give them a stop by tonight and do that live chat.
And then Jeff, also worth noting, because I see Randy Seligson. Randy, hello to Randy. Randy's from Area E. So Randy, you were, as were several others, you were in the drawing. Randy, you did not win this time around, but if you want a chance to win again, then we're going to have that opportunity. And I believe we said 5. We only need it for the evening session from 7 to 9 p.m. Since you have a little less time, and we want you to kind of hang out and have fun. So 5 vendors tonight that you're going to fill in. We're going to reset that form if you visit cada1.org/hunt. Then once again, that's cada1.org/hunt, H-U-N-T, for scavenger hunt. Then you will be able to, we're going to reset that, and you'll see that it is going to be set up for session 2, session 2. And you'll only need to visit 5 booths this evening. And for this one, it's going to be exhibitors' favorite bands. So so this one was exhibitors' favorite song. Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
We're going to do a flip. So where the answers were this time, you might find the answer there next time, but we have to change that out. So don't go there now looking for those answers, because they're not yet there. We want you to wait till after 7 once we get everything set up. So a little behind the scenes magic happening here at, what are we calling this place? Convention Central?
Yes, the command center. Yes.
The audio, video, I don't know.
Something like that. The recording studio. I don't know.
The recording studio. Sure.
The back cave.
All right, we are 14 minutes away from workshop session 3. So check it out in the app, figure out where you want to go, and we will be back on live tonight at 7, or just after 7. Once the daily rewind wraps up, we will jump on here and have another really scintillating live broadcast for our live exhibit hall. And I hope Ron has his Princess Leia headphones on tonight, so it looks adorable.
I will definitely be wearing my Princess Leia headphones. If you enjoy watching us for 10 or 15 minutes at a go, just imagine 2 hours of the Jeff and Ron show.
Hey, maybe we'll have some special guests tonight. I don't know.
All right, I think it's time to sign off. It's 13 minutes till showtime for workshop session 3. Thanks for tuning in.
We'll see you later on. Thank you.